Steel mixture, Heart Sutra, 3-rate peerless technique. When the three energies were combined together, the aura on Long Fei's body instantly changed. Oxhead's palm did not even bother defending. He rushed forward and grabbed Oxhead's head. You're finished. Now it's my turn, right? He crushed them with brute force. The Oxhead was actually unable to move, and felt extremely uncomfortable. He stared at Long Fei and shouted, "Brat, you dared to barge into the underworld, even if you're alive today, you will still die." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei punched him in the face. "Are you dead?" Oxhead could not dodge. He punched himself until his nose was bruised, but he still shouted loudly, "You dare to touch me? Do you know who I am? You are an animal." Long Fei punched out again, specially striking his face. Oxhead was enraged as he roared, "Brat, F***ck. Fuck your ancestors." Long Fei punched out again, striking his face. Fart. Blood spurted out from the wound, and a huge face of a cow was mangled into a bloody mess. However, it was not over yet. Long Fei's huge body grabbed onto the bull's head with one hand and struck it with the other. Come the F***ck again. If I wasn't holding a child, would I have been ambushed by you? Is Oxhead great? Is the Oxhead gang arrogant? Obstructing my path? Come again. Boom, boom, boom. With every punch, he would roar. The sky would crash into the ground and the ground would crack. The Oxhead's entire body would be badly mutilated. Every strike of his would strike the spirits of those devils. This bastard was a lunatic. Did he not know who the Oxhead gang leader was? Crazy, crazy, completely crazy. The people around them whispered amongst themselves. Long Fei stood in the deep pit and lifted the bloody head of the cow out of the pit. Oxhead's mouth twitched as he laughed in disdain. "Do you know where we are? This is the underworld. Only the Yama city can kill me, you? Ha ha ha. Kid, you will never be able to kill me, ha ha ha." Oxhead had been crushed, but the arrogance on his body had not diminished in the slightest. Because he knew clearly in his heart that in Ghost City, only the boss Hades could kill him. The other ghosts could not kill him. The same goes for Horseface. Long Fei's anger rose. "I won't kill you, right?" Oxhead laughed complacently. "Of course, you're going to die soon. Just you wait, woo-ha-ha-ha." At this moment, Long Fei grabbed with his right hand and a black dragon Salia appeared. He threw the cow head into the sky. "I want to see how you are going to die." He stayed where he was. The purification power of the Heart Sutra surged. The power of a steel mixture. All of the 3-rate peerless technique's power was channeled into the dragon Salia. Long Fei's voice sank as his eyes turned sinister. His body turned into a lump of straight line and streaked across the sky like lightning, and the blade aura from the dragon Salia slashed down like black lightning. Boom. Long Fei landed on the ground. His voice was extremely cold. As soon as he finished, the bull's head in the air let out a loud catcher sound. The head of the bull was severed from the body. Bam! The Oxhead man fell to the ground, his eyes opened wide in disbelief as he stared at Long Fei in fear. It was also at this moment the system sounded out. Long Fei did not release the Berserk energy attribute, because, since they had already begun their slaughter, it would be best to leave the energy values to the last one. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Oxhead for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rushing Thunder Palm. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Oxhead Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for slaying Oxhead. Level +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei, currently at War Master level 6. A few notifications sounded. It didn't drop anything good. The blood vein was also instantly absorbed by the dragon Salia, causing the dark aura to grow even stronger. But his level had increased by 1. Special reward. Long Fei's mouth was about to become crooked from laughing. Ha ha ha. This is equivalent to obtaining 200 million experience in one go. This feeling is really great. Ha ha ha. Raise him to level 17 or 18 in Ghost City, and then attack the Heaven Sec. At this moment, a fluorescent light that was much larger than that of ordinary evil spirits rose from Oxhead's body. It flew up into the air and was absorbed into his body by the celestial spirit. His body was also covered in a thick layer of dark aura. Yang Huang ancestor's mind trembled, and said, "The evil energy in his body is about to break through my seal. It seems that I have underestimated this group of energy." Long Fei. He was somewhat worried. He was worried for Long Fei because once this power exploded, Long Fei would not be able to control it. Moreover, once the power of the heavenly spirit reached the level of peak realm and was released, even the only power of Emperor Yang Huang he had right now would be a little uncontrollable. Long Fei laughed. He was laughing excitedly. He walked up to the top of his head and said, "Absorb it. Absorb it as much as you want. I won't stop you from becoming stronger. But there's one thing you need to understand. I can make you stronger, and I can also destroy you." Long Fei spoke very plainly, but his tone, however, revealed an aura that could not be defied. "I can let you live, and I can also let you die. If you don't believe me, just try it." The evil aura within his body trembled slightly. He could feel the unique aura around Long Fei, as well as the hidden killing intent in his eyes. This kind of feeling was comparable to being crushed by one's cultivation level. Rather, it was an incomparably powerful suppression. The sky spirit was still in a coma, but the glow around his body was slowly absorbed by him. The beautiful woman looked at Long Fei, her heart feeling even more at ease. Because the disappearance of the fluorescent light signified that the yin energy was afraid of Long Fei. This was the first time in history that the yin energy was afraid of a person. Yang Huang ancestor was also slightly shocked, as she couldn't quite believe it. "I didn't think that you would really be able to suppress him." Long Fei laughed. "Who is this brother? Someone who is so handsome can crush everything." Actually, Long Fei was still a little worried in his heart, because the yin fiendish aura in his body was asking him for help. He wanted Long Fei to bring him away from Ghost City, but once he left Ghost City and returned to the real world, what would happen to him? To be honest, Long Fei himself didn't know either. However, since he had already decided on this brother, then Long Fei definitely would not lose him. Sect Master. The Sect Master is dead. The Sect Master is dead. Oxhead is dead. We must avenge our Sect Master. At this moment, Oxhead is just a piece of trash. He can't even deal with a single person, yet he dares to be so cocky here. Humph. While they were talking, Horseface floated in mid-air and glared at Long Fei coldly. The first chapter, the last day of February, requests for monthly ticket. 8_841923565758. Another elite monster, Horseface. Another elite monster, Horseface. His aura was slightly stronger than Oxhead's. Floating in the air, his eyes revealed a sneer of disdain. At this moment, the Horseface Hall disciple was extremely arrogant as he shouted, "Trash from the Oxhead gang, scram to the side. It's our turn now. Trash like you can't even deal with a single person after so long. Do you still have the face to stay here? Get lost. Aren't you ashamed of yourself?" With an arrogant expression, the disciples of the Horseface Hall rushed into the small courtyard. With a ghost blade in hand, he pointed at Long Fei and bellowed, "Kid, today you met my Horseface Hall, your death is." Before he could say the word die, Long Fei's figure disappeared. The dragon Salia moved, and slash. Whoosh. A ghost head shot into the air, blood spraying out. Long Fei's gaze turned cold. "Don't be arrogant in front of me, it's useless." The disciples of the Horseface Hall all had cold expressions on their faces. As the head landed on the ground, Long Fei's right leg moved and directly kicked at Horseface. Whoosh. Horseface's eyes turned slightly sinister as he released a sinister aura. He didn't even blink as the head approached him. He immediately transformed into nothingness. So powerful. Long Fei's heart trembled. It seemed like Horseface was not moving, but he did not. In that instant, he actually moved. It was just that it was too fast, so fast that it could fool people's eyes. Suddenly, Horseface suddenly descended. Shua. Standing in front of Long Fei, he said with a cold smile, even though Oxhead and I are sworn enemies, however. If you kill him, I'll lose a lot of face. His life is mine. If you kill him, then I can only kill you. The power of Ghost. Soul Lock. Horseface's power surged. Who could block him at such a close distance? Could Long Fei block it? No. Thus, he did not go to defend, but the idea sank. Boom, boom, boom. 4 clones appeared. Horseface's power exploded, and directly turned one of Long Fei's clones into ashes. It was also at this moment that his back felt a chill, and his body didn't dare to move even an inch. Boom. Continue the bombardment. Go F*** King on with the bombardment. They spoke very quickly, and all 3 of them said it at the same time. Horseface was a little confused. This was not the main point. The main point was that he felt that Long Fei's chi was locking him down from all directions. He couldn't move. His heart sank again. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why have I never seen it? Is there such a cultivation technique in the world? However, Long Fei did not give him any time to think about whether or not he had that kind of cultivation technique, and instead unleashed his full strength. 3 Dragon Salia S and 3 Furious Dark Dragon God Slashes. Boom, boom, boom. 3 strikes of power came crashing down. He directly smashed Horseface onto the ground. The bun was scattered and his entire body was a mess of blood and flesh. 3 incomparably sharp cracks appeared on the ground. The scene was extremely shocking. Long Fei retracted his idea and stepped forward, stepping on Horseface's body. Aren't you very arrogant? Continue. Woo ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out wildly. An arrogant and domineering aura completely crushed Horseface. With Oxhead's experience of death, Horseface immediately said, "Hero, don't be like this. I was wrong, I'm wrong, alright? I swear, I won't be arrogant anymore." Horseface begged for mercy. Long Fei grinned and laughed. "Are you begging now? I'm sorry. Too late. Let him go just because he begged for mercy. Let him go if he doesn't act arrogantly. How can I level up then? Beheading an ox head would give you a bonus of 1 level, and if Horseface was 1 point stronger than an ox head, then he would definitely be rewarded as well. What he wanted now was experience. What he wanted was level. In that instant, the Dragon Salia in Long Fei's hand suddenly slashed. "Don't be arrogant in your next life, because there's only one ending for you to be so arrogant in front of me. Die." Crack. Another slash. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Horseface, for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Ghost Steps. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Horseface Blood Vein. Do you wish to fuse them? Congratulations to player Long Fei. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for killing Horseface, level +1 ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Master level 7. Level 7. War Master is already level 7, there is only a difference of 3 levels to the War Emperor realm. Heaven Sect, Hong Tianjun. Long Fei's heart was incomparably excited, from the day he left the Fireglass City. He was desperately cultivating and leveling up. He was thinking about killing his way up to the Heaven Sect and trampling Hong Tianjun to death 3 years later. All the time. Right now, he was at the 7th level of the War Master, just 3 levels away from it. However, that's not enough. He wanted to break through the War God realm, wanted to crush Hong Tianjun to the ground and make him unable to crawl back up, wanted to make him kneel in front of Liu Luoshi and Cao Tao and admit his mistake. This was what he wanted to do the most. It was also at this moment. Horseface's glowing light was absorbed by the Sky Spirit. This time, instead of the previous time, his body was shrouded in a black aura, and he immediately inhaled it into his body. However, the murderous aura inside his body became even stronger. Long Fei swept his gaze across and smiled coldly. Horseface Hall? Those disciples were so scared that they directly kneeled on the ground and continuously kowtowed and apologized. Great sir, I was wrong. We deserve to die 1,000 deaths. Hero, I'm not familiar with Horseface at all. I was forced to. I want to be a good person. No. Be a good ghost. Please spare my life. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted as he coldly laughed. A bunch of cowards. Your lives are just wasting your air. Turn them all into my experience. Long Fei moved, the dense chi on his body released, the dragon salya slashed continuously, the blade descended, like a ghost dying. He did not stop at all. He needed experience, an urgent need. Moreover, he couldn't leave any hidden dangers behind for the mother and son pair. Ding, ding. The system beeps echoed crazily. At the same time Long Fei killed them crazily, he continued to crazily absorb the energy from the sky spirit that was still in a coma, not stopping for even a second. The power in his body was accumulating. The more power he had in his body, the more Ghost City would tremble. Suddenly, the sky suddenly split apart. A golden light scattered down. Boom. A loud sound rang out as a man with a ferocious gaze and a domineering aura hovered in the air, his entire body emitting a golden light. Long Fei had seen him before. He looked at Long Fei with a cold expression. Have I met you before? Indeed. In the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm, Long Fei had used the Yellow Springs summoning seal to summon him out when dealing with the Darklick King. It was exactly the same as the Yama King in front of him. However, the current Yama King's aura was much stronger than when Long Fei was summoning it. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A little more. The body of the Yama King emitted a dazzling golden light. What did this mean? This meant he was a level boss. Chapter 2, last day of February, requests for monthly ticket. 8_841923566759. The golden light was the boss' most obvious feature. The golden light was the boss' most obvious feature. Kill him. This was Long Fei's first thought. Killing Oxhead and Horseface would increase by 1 level, then killing King Yama. Long Fei grinned vulgarly and laughed. Then why don't you go to the heavens? Heh. When King Yama saw the wretched smile on Long Fei's face, his gaze tightened and said coldly, why would a lowly human like an ant come to the underworld? What do you want to do with killing my ghost general? Disdain was written all over his face. Moreover, his voice was filled with a domineering pressure. Long Fei thought of the reason he came this time and said, King Yang, I want to ask you a question. If I die, then my 3 souls and 7 souls will return to the underworld. I want to know where these 3 souls will be imprisoned. He had already been in the Ghost City for almost a day, and he had been killing to his heart's content. Hade's eyes darkened. What are you trying to do? Long Fei laughed. I don't want to do anything, I just want to save someone. Save him? Save people in my underworld? Do you want to go against the heavens? The King of Hell was infuriated. Since he was already dead, he should go to a place that was dead. If he wanted to return the favor back to the sun, that was an act that defied the will of the heavens. He was the master of this Ghost City, and this was something that required him to live within his jurisdiction. A dead man's yang, absolutely not allowed. If everyone did it, then wouldn't the world be a mess? Moreover, what do you think of him? Long Fei slightly said, even if I, Long Fei, have to go against the heavens to save the person I want to save, I will still do it. What an arrogant tone. King Yang coldly snorted, today we will see if your strength is worthy of your arrogant tone. Furthermore, today, no matter if you are a human or a ghost, you will still die. As soon as he finished, the sky suddenly changed. A judge pen appeared in Hade's hand, and a book of life and death appeared on his left hand. To control life and death. Book of life and death. Long Fei's heart sank, and thought of something. Hades wants you dead, I definitely won't let you live until 5 o'clock. He controlled the book of life and death, whoever was to die, the black impermanence would come after him with the help of the judge's pen. At that time. Indeed. The book of life and death was the King of Hell's most powerful treasure. The brush in his hand moved slightly as he muttered to himself, the black and white impermanents are taking my life. Oxhead and Horseface are leading the way. Kill him. Boom, 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 boom. 4 loud sounds resounded as the black and white impermanents walked out from the void. One of them held a soul lance, while the other one was black and white. All this is normal. What surprised Long Fei was that Oxhead and Horseface had revived. Exactly the same. Oxhead rushed down like lightning, and said furiously, "You dog, I said you can't kill me, oh ha ha ha. My life belongs to His Majesty the King of Hell." Horseface was equally furious, "If you don't kill me today, how can I, Horseface, live on in this world with my dignity?" Their lives were under the control of Hades. If Hades wanted them to live, they would live. Long Fei's mind trembled as he stared at the Book of Life and Death in the hands of Hades. He silently said in his heart, "Could it be? Can that book resurrect a person indefinitely? F***CK. That's a top-grade holy artifact. Explode him." Seeing something good, Long Fei could not even open his feet. The Book of Life and Death. A being in control of life and death, how could he not be excited? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oxhead, Horseface, and the other two landed beside Long Fei and surrounded him. "Kid, die." Oxhead took the lead and charged out. He had a bellyful of fire in his heart, as he must break Long Fei into pieces. Horseface tightened up after that. The black and white impermanents guarded the outer perimeter, preventing Long Fei from escaping. However, there was one thing Long Fei could be at ease about, because if the Book of Life and Death didn't take a person's name, that person would die. He was in the underworld right now, so the only way for him to die was to truly kill him, otherwise the black and white impermanents would not be able to hook out his soul. Be clear about that. Long Fei smiled slightly, and said, "Then, this father will kill you one more time." The steel mixture still had a minute. This minute, the battle had to be resolved. With his current cultivation level and steel mixture's cultivation level, if the steel mixture's power disappeared, then he would only have the cultivation of War Master level 7. Immediately, Long Fei did not have any hesitation, and his heart sank. Bedevilment. Boom. Burning Silk City was blood red in color, and its entire body was pitch black. Sky Demon armor. Sky Demon crown. Wings of the Sky Demon. Purple boots of the Sky Demon. God's Devil Blade. Whoosh. KCHA. Whoosh. KCHA. The Sky Demon armor was all undone, and he put it on Long Fei's God's Devil body, his aura also becoming exceptionally fanatical. The demonic chi was like burning flames, visible to the naked eye on Long Fei's body. Holy artifact set. His red hair recklessly swayed, the 2 times under the steel mixture's body were incomparably strong, with eyes filled with a domineering demonic aura, the heavenly demon wings on his body, and the Sky Demon armor on his body were simply handsome to the point of crumbs. If there was a girl, she would definitely scream. Long Fei originally wanted to use this set of holy artifacts to act cool, but he knew that it was impossible. "I can't wait that long now." Devil transformation? Just who are you? The underworld and the demons never had any relationship. Whose soul and soul are you looking for? Hades' face slightly changed. He didn't understand for whose soul and soul did Long Fei come to the underworld. His father. Not dead yet. His mother hadn't died. Grandfather still hadn't died. If it weren't for his family, who would be so desperate? Rushing into the underworld itself was a heinous crime. Now, he had to go against the heavens and snatch away the souls and souls of the 3 people. Who was he trying to do this kind of thing that defied the will of the heavens? Hades was constantly calculating, and was simply unable to find out who Long Fei was trying to make pay. Seeing Long Fei become bedeviled, Hades was shocked in his heart. Could it be some kind of demon powerhouse? No way. No matter what, I can't let him succeed. Hades was determined. At this time, Long Fei laughed crazily, and spat out a single word coldly. Kill. With a furious roar filled with demonic energy, Long Fei moved his God's Devil Blade S. The Sky Demon chi on the back of the blade immediately shot out. Shua. He sent the cowhead flying with a single slash. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of walls were knocked over by Oxhead. At the start, he knocked Long Fei out of dozens of walls, but now, he was sent flying by Long Fei instead. He moved to the side. The God's Devil Blade slashed down. Horseface grinned and said, "Your speed is too." Before he could finish his words, Long Fei appeared right beside him, and laughed sinisterly. "Whose speed is that slow?" Boom. His right fist exploded and landed on Horseface's chest, directly blowing him away. Long Fei grinned, "Now it's just the two of you. Go die too." Arrogant beyond compare. It was extremely domineering. http:// the black and white impermanence charged forward. Long Fei stared at the King of Hell in midair and suddenly, moonlit step. Whoosh. Long Fei jumped into the air and roared, "My target is you." Chapter 38_841923566760. From the very beginning, Long Fei's goal was the King of Hell in the sky. From the very beginning, Long Fei's goal was the King of Hell in the sky. He was fighting with all his might, precisely because he wanted King Yama to let his guard down. 1v1. He was definitely not a match for King Yama. He could only sneak attack. And then, the time for the steel mixture's power was coming. If he did not attack soon, he would not have the chance. Thus, Long Fei suddenly launched a sneak attack. With a step into the air, he landed in front of Yama King and shouted, "Devil Snake's Eye, Shua." Long Fei's eyes changed as he released the power of petrification from the Devil Snake's Eye. Seeing King Yenluo's body slowly petrifying, Long Fei was excited. "It's done." 3-rate peerless technique. After unleashing his 8-fold stats, Long Fei began slaying the dragon on the right and struck with the berserker blade on the left. His mouth had an autumn water in it as he bent his body forward slightly, his body appearing like an afterimage of a ghost. 9 Knives Force. Azura. Kill. He didn't give King Yama any chance to react. No one had expected this to happen. Everything happened too quickly. The black-white impermanence on the ground did not react at all. Looking at Long Fei, who was in midair, their mouths gaped open so wide that even their voices could be heard. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Long Fei's sky demon body was like 3 heads and 6 arms, and the pair of ghost eyes above his head was incomparably red. His body charged forward. Break. A few incomparably sharp blades fell down. Catcher, catcher, catcher. A burst of explosive sounds came out from King Yama's body. Long Fei was extremely excited. "It's done, ha ha ha. Explode for me." Under these circumstances, he would definitely succeed. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart, to be able to produce the Book of Life and Death, and the judge's brush, ha ha ha. From now on, I will take control of this samsara, ha ha ha. He felt indescribably excited. But the system beep did not make a sound. Long Fei questioned in his heart, didn't he die instantly? There's something wrong with the situation. Suddenly, Yang Huang ancestor suddenly shouted, "Behind you." A cold voice rang out. "What are you trying to blow up?" The voice crushed the heavens, as if it was the voice of the heavens itself. Long Fei turned his head slightly, his face pale white, as his body trembled. This was because the King of Hell had become incomparably large, and his body alone covered the sky. In front of him, Long Fei's double body was only the size of an ant. Too powerful. Long Fei's heart trembled. This kind of tyrannical pressure caused him to be completely immobilized. He had never experienced this kind of pressure before, and it was too unbearable. It was extremely uncomfortable. "What do you want to blow up?" The sound came again. Phut. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. He couldn't even withstand a single sound. An unshakable level of power. "Here, I am the heavens. I am the hegemon. You want to go against the heavens by killing my people? Brat, you're truly overthinking it." King Yama's voice was like waves of thunder, striking one after another on Long Fei's mind. Long Fei also spat out a mouthful of blood. And then, King Yama's right hand moved, and smashed onto Long Fei's body with a palm strike. Bang! The gigantic palm covered the sky and Long Fei had nowhere to dodge. Rumble. Rumble. Long Fei's body landed heavily on the ground of the courtyard in a straight line, creating an incomparably deep crater. Dozens of buildings with crater as the center were directly smashed into pieces by the powerful shockwave, becoming a pile of ruins. Too strong. He was simply incomparable. In the deep pit. Ding. Notification. Health point down. Red alert. Player is in imminent danger. Please supplement. Red alert. Player is in imminent danger. Please supplement. The system's alarm kept ringing. Moreover, Long Fei's body felt like it was about to break into pieces. That kind of tearing pain made his health point continue to decline. Long Fei clenched his teeth. The idea moved. Power of regeneration. Release. Buzz. His health point had already dropped to 100 points. If he still did not release the power of regeneration, he would die in a few minutes. The power of regeneration could recover 1,000 points of health point. Huff. Huff. Long Fei gasped for breath like a cow. Cough, cough, cough. A series of intense coughs, blood gushed out. If not for the protection of the Sky Demon set, even if he had the power of regeneration, he would have been killed with one palm. Long Fei slowly crawled out of the deep pit, his face as pale as thin paper. At this moment, a dozen Oxhead and Horseface, who were standing outside the wall, rushed back. You dog, it's our turn now, right? Go to hell. Huff. Long Fei exhaled deeply, his eyes becoming bloodshot as he roared sinisterly, scram to the side. The god's devil blade moved. One slash. The head of the cowhead was chopped off once again, blood spewing out from its mouth. With a flip of his right hand, the dragon Salia held onto his neck. Staring at the Yama King in the air, he said in a heavy tone, Die. It slashed out horizontally. Shua. Horseface's head was chopped off once again. However, he didn't receive any special rewards these two times. He only received a few million experience points. Even though Long Fei was only left with half his life from the attack of the King of Hell, he was still arrogant as usual, and the aura around his body was still incomparably arrogant. What other power can kill him? Long Fei's mind kept on thinking about this matter. No. Not at all. It was as if the King of Hell had no blind spots, and no power could shake him. However, at this point, why not kill him? That won't do. Long Fei took a step forward, his gaze locking onto the incomparably large King of Hell. At this moment, whoosh! The aura on Long Fei's body deflated like a balloon, and his body quickly recovered to its normal state. The time for the steel mixture had come. Long Fei's cultivation had returned to the 7th level of the War Master. Within a day, the steel mixture could no longer be used. King Yama laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. You lowly ant, you dare to come up and throw your life away, and you dare to fight against me with your low cultivation. Here, I am the heavens. Ha ha ha. King Yang Luo laughed maniacally. Long Fei's gaze tightened, and said, I don't care what you are, block my way. Even if it's the heavens, I will still kill him. Explode. With the release of the demonic chi, Long Fei's chi was linked to the dragon Salia. The dark dragon god roared. He charged forward. Long Fei crazily rushed forward again. King Yang Luo disdainfully sneered, and said, You overestimate yourself. Another palm came crashing down. Yang Huang ancestor idea moved. Power of Emperor Yang Huang. Block http://buzz. His power immediately wrapped around Long Fei, but even so, Long Fei was still blasted down, his attack unable to reach King Yama's body. Not at all. Too damn strong. Chapter 48_841923566761. It was truly unshakable. It was truly unshakable. King Yama. The master of the Ghost City. The life and death that controlled a world. What realm was he at? It was unimaginable. However, Long Fei knew one thing. He was a boss, a level boss. As long as it was a boss, there would be a weakness. It was just that. Long Fei still hadn't found out where his weakness lay. When King Yenluo's palm struck down, Long Fei's body exploded on the ground like a cannonball, forming a deep pit. However, this time, with the protection of the Yang Huang ancestor's power, he did not suffer much damage. Again, Long Fei's body moved, ghost steps. Whoosh. Whiz. Multiple shadows, whoosh whoosh whoosh. * 4 clones descended, encircling the King of Hell from 4 directions. Long Fei slashed down furiously. Darkness. not waiting for him to finish. King Yenluo's palm swept across with a punch. Bang, bang, bang bang. 4 voices exploded. The 3 clones immediately turned into white smoke and disappeared. Long Fei's original body was once again smashed into the ground. Again, Long Fei rushed forward once again. The idea sank. Secret technique, sealing. Shua. King Yama disdainfully sneered. Break for me. Not even waiting for the power of seal to descend on his body, it was directly smashed into smithereens by his fist, and at the same time, his palm came crushing down. Boom. Long Fei was smashed to the ground again. Ah! Again. Long Fei was like a madman, like a devil, like a madman. Every time he was blasted down, he would climb up from the ground and once again charge forward. After killing the boss, even if he couldn't kill it, he would still be able to deal great damage. However, Long Fei's attack couldn't even land on King Yama's body. This was the difference. An incomparable difference. This feeling was extremely maddening. Ha ha ha. King Yang Luo laughed maniacally. Come again, let's see how much you can resist. Kid. Today, you can't go against me, woo-ha-ha. King Yama was extremely pleased with himself. Since this was his territory, no one could go against it. Long Fei was the same. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei panted heavily. He was feeling extremely unwell as he kept thinking about the weakness of the King of Hell, but he didn't think of it at all. Yang Huang ancestor also slightly said, "He's too strong, your current cultivation is too weak. The 2 of you aren't even on the same level, what if we fight? The power that I am currently training in is merely on the surface of the power of Emperor Yang Huang. At most, I can only help you defend. If you want to kill him, you can only rely on your own strength." Yang Huang ancestor hesitated, but he did not say it. Every time he protected Long Fei's body, he would have to endure a strong pain. His power of Emperor Yang Huang would not be able to hold on for long. However, Yang Huang ancestor was also displeased. She said angrily, "A mere ghost guard from the Sky Martial continent, how dare you? Once I refine all the power of Emperor Yang Huang, I can kill you with one finger." *CK his grandmother. Yang Huang ancestor burst out in vulgarities. He was displeased. Long Fei had given him too little time, he was only a remnant soul. If he had more time, and if he had been able to refine a little more power of Emperor Yang Huang, he definitely wouldn't be like this. Xiao Bai said solemnly, "Master, let us out." Bing Hua also said, "That's right. Master, please let us out." It was not possible. The 2 of them had always wanted to come out and fight, but Long Fei didn't agree to it at all. When Xiao Bai and the ice and fire came out, he would be killed in an instant. Absolutely not. Long Fei said, "If even I can't do it, then don't come out and cause trouble." Xiao Bai and Bing Hua became silent. King Yama looked down at Long Fei, who was lying on the ground like an ant, laughed in disdain, and said, "Why did you stop? Let's continue. Didn't you act quite arrogantly just now? Aren't you going to defy the heavens? Do you want to know where the 3 souls and 7 souls are?" The King of Hell laughed madly and coldly. Suddenly, his eyes turned sinister as a cold light flashed in them. He said coldly, "You aren't going to attack, right? Then. Now it's my turn." As soon as he finished, the power of the Yama King's body exploded out, causing the void to rumble, as though the sky was going to split open. Long Fei tensed up. Did he not use his power just now? They were completely shocked. Long Fei was not able to compete with the power that he had just displayed, and now that King Yama had released his power, he was even less able to fight against him. Both of Yama Minamaya's eyes opened wide in anger as his palms moved, and he shouted in a deep voice, "Yama Luo's 10,000 palm." A palm struck down. The palm imprint covered the sky. No matter where Long Fei tried to hide, there was not enough time. Ah! Long Fei clenched his teeth and protected his heart veins with all his might. Rumble. He lowered his body slightly and spat out a large mouthful of black blood. Kneel. Rumble. Another palm came smashing down, striking the top of Long Fei's head. His body kept on trembling, it was unbearable, and even the power of the Yang Huang ancestor began to tremble. He couldn't bear it. Kneel. King Yama roared again, and then, a palm came smashing down explosively, smashing Long Fei's body. He wanted Long Fei to kneel in front of him. He wanted to let the hundreds of millions of ghosts know that he was the master of the ghost city and no one could escape his control. Boom. Boom. A gigantic five-fingered imprint appeared on the ground as 10,000 palms blasted down. Long Fei's body was entirely covered in blood, and every single trace of it shot out from his pores. It was like a huge blood net. His body was also covered in blood, numerous wounds. His eyes, nose, mouth, and head were all bleeding. However, he did not fall down, much less kneel down. He stood there unwaveringly. He crossed his arms across his chest. His eyes still showed incomparable arrogance and arrogance. There was no sign of fear in his eyes. A man. They would rather live on their feet than die on their knees. The beautiful woman was crying so hard that her heart almost burst. She kept shouting, "No, no, no." Although she hadn't known Long Fei for more than a day, he was definitely right. However, Long Fei was her son's hope and even her savior. Seeing Long Fei standing there, as if he was dead, her heart clenched together as well. Hoo. Long Fei was still breathing, his eyes raised slightly, his movements very slow, because it was incomparably heavy. He currently did not even have the strength to lift his eyes. However, looking at the incomparably huge King Yama in the sky, Long Fei arrogantly shouted once more, "Come again, grandson." King Yama was also furious. This made him very unhappy, and at the same time, he had lost his patience. "You want to die, right? I'll help you." The King of Hell's palm once again struck down. Sister-in-law, 1-/+ health, strongest upgrade system. The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he let out a light laugh. "Luoshi, I'm sorry, grandfather, Jojo, leopard girl, I'm sorry, we have to go first." At this moment, Sky Spirit's eyes opened, became furious, and flashed. He stood beside Long Fei, and revealed a cold laughter that was bewitching. "It's my turn." Chapter 5, last day of February, requesting for monthly ticket. Tomorrow, he would go berserk for 10 chapters. 8_841923566762. At this moment, Long Fei's health point was only left with this last point. The pain in his body was unable to take away this last bit of health point, but as long as King Yama made a casual move, even a single sneeze would take his life. He was an existence that could not be stopped. However, at this moment, the heavenly spirit suddenly woke up, and stood beside Long Fei. Strange runes appeared on his body, covering his entire body, and he had an evil smile on his face. Ghastly. Terrifying. It was even more terrifying than a wraith. He turned his head to look at Long Fei, and smiled. "You still haven't brought me out of here, you can't die yet." His tone was filled with disdain. It was the same even when facing Long Fei, as this was his innate tone. Because he is a body of evil. Finished. The Sky Spirit raised his eyes slightly and looked at the Yama's palm, which was coming down from the sky. He coldly snorted, "King Yama, I have been seeing you for a long time." Before he could finish his sentence, his figure disappeared. It was even faster than lightning, landing on the huge palm. Both of his fists went berserk as he repeatedly struck out, "Ah, ah, 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 ah." A crazy critical strike. He couldn't even see the palm shadow. Yama Minamaya's huge palm was stopped in mid-air. It had been blocked by the heavenly spirit's violent strike, and it couldn't be crushed. Furthermore, this was nothing. The power of the Sky Spirit was yin aura. When the attack hit a target, the Yama King's palm split open as fresh blood spurted out. The more he split, the more terrifying the expression on his face became, and his punches started to strike even faster. Bang, bang, bang. Ah! It was the first time in the history of the Yama King that he let out a sound of pain. In that instant, the palm of Yama broke and the heavenly spirit was blasted out from his huge palm. His entire body was dripping with blood as he stood on the back of the Yama King's hand. He laughed sinisterly. "Is this good?" Without waiting for King Yama's reply, his footwork began to move. It followed the direction of the Yama king's arm and continued to fly up into the sky. A purple glow radiated from his body. Long Fei had seen this kind of power before. It was the power of the dosed that Yang Huang ancestor had spoken of, the kind of power that could turn one into ashes in an instant. It was incomparably terrifying. Yang Huang ancestor could not help but praise, "What a strong power, and this power still hasn't broken through the power that my seal has released. If I were to break through the power, then the power that he has released will be even more terrifying. Brat, are you sure you can control him?" Yang Huang ancestor was worried again. At this moment, Yang Huang ancestor was also incomparably weak. Long Fei grinned excitedly and said, "Why do you want to control him? He's my brother. Where did all these brothers come from?" His thoughts were completely different from the Yang Huang ancestors. Yang Huang ancestor was worried that the strong energy inside his body would cause damage to Long Fei, but Long Fei was a complete madman. Moreover, what he was thinking was that the word control did not exist in a brother's mind. He was Heavenly Spirit Diamond. One of the 8 great King Kong, he was also Long Fei's brother. No matter what he did, Long Fei would never think of a way to control him. The only thing he wanted to do was to make his heavenly spirit become even more powerful, not to restrict him. The speed of the heavenly spirit was incredibly fast, both of his hands were dragged behind him, his 5 fingers forming a claw, the purplish-black decaying power on his claws were constantly growing and thickening. It was as if 2 devils without bodies were rolling in his hands. Landing on King Yama's shoulder, Tianling leaped up into the sky and smashed down onto the huge face of King Yama. "Ah, ha, ha! King of Hell's child, die for me, woo ha ha ha!" The sky spirit laughed sinisterly and arrogantly, his power also rushing downward. Shua! It penetrated the body of the Yama king. The sky spirit landed heavily on the ground. The corners of its mouth curled up as it lightly said, "Die." A confident smile. At this moment, the incomparably huge king of Hell's body turned black from being petrified and turned into rotten wood. His body's functions were rapidly flowing out. However, Long Fei's heart trembled. This is bad. At this moment, a golden light flashed from the body of the king of Hell. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out from within his body as his palms blasted out. Bam! A slap landed on the top of his head, sending him flying and crashing into the city walls. Fart! The sky spirit coughed out a mouthful of blood. Xiao Yang's eyes became sinister. Long Fei muttered, "King Yanluo's power has become stronger again. Wait! The golden light in his body. Where is his book of life and death and the judge's note?" Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. Ever since King Yama grew up, the book of life and death and the judge's brush had never appeared. Could the golden light in his body be? Yang Huang ancestor slightly said, "That is his natal implement. This kind of magical equipment can only be used by him. In times of crisis, he can protect his life and release even more power." Heh! Natal implement. Long Fei's heart trembled. When did I also have a natal implement? Yang Huang ancestor did not say that his idea was looking at the dragon Salia. Actually, the dragon Salia was Long Fei's natal implement. However, the strength of the dragon Salia was just too weak. He was unable to bear more of Long Fei's power, it needed to level up, and he would need to wait for him to become a supreme artifact once more. Then its power would completely explode, and it would become Long Fei's natal implement. In the distance, the sky spirit's gaze tightened, and said gloomily, "Natal implement." He could also see the difference in King Yama. The power of that golden light completely dissolved the yin energy of decay. This made him unhappy. King Yama's expression turned slightly sinister as he said, "I didn't expect that there would be someone with extreme yin from the body of evil hidden in my ghost city. I was wondering why the yin aura in my ghost city had become so sparse these past few years. It seems like you have swallowed all of it." However, the eyes of the King of Hell were filled with killing intent as he stared at the distant sky spirit. "Today, you must die." With a cold laugh, the heavenly spirit spoke, "You? Will you kill me?" The King of Hell shouted, "Try it then." The forehead of the sky spirit twitched. The black rune on his forehead moved, and the yin energy in his body surged out even more. If you want to try, then go ahead. Am I afraid of you? Whoosh. He charged forward. Rumble. The moment the two powers clashed, the sky spirit was repelled. King Yangluo only took a few steps back. Once again, the heavenly spirit rushed up and was sent flying. The king of hell only took half a step back. The third time. After the heavenly spirit was smashed to the ground, King Yama did not take a single step back. Complete suppression. Following that, King Yangluo unceasingly struck out. His heavenly spirit was bombarded into the deep pit. He allowed himself to be bombarded by the king of Yangluo as he wildly laughed. Ha ha ha. I'm not human. It's not a ghost. How are you going to kill me? Will you kill me? Ha ha ha. The first chapter, asking for monthly ticket. 8_841923566763. Not human, not ghost, not demon, not demon, not human, not ghost, not demon, not demon. People don't die. Indestructible. He himself was a ball of baleful yin force. The body of evil had absorbed the ghost city's yin qi for 8 years, and the power of the ghost he cultivated had reached an extremely strong realm. Adding on the fact that he had absorbed the cowhead, horseface, and the other 2 ghost cities' yin qi, the yin energy in his body became even stronger. In the ghost city. Want to kill him? Difficult. Extremely difficult. Even if it was the king of hell, he wouldn't be able to touch the sky spirit. He was just like a bug. The sky spirit laughed out wildly. He was not afraid of King Yama at all as he laughed sinisterly. I am not human and you cannot hook my soul. I am not a ghost and you cannot control my body. How are you going to kill me? Ha ha ha. Yin energy wildly laughed. However, if Yama Minamaya couldn't kill him, he was also no match for him. In terms of cultivation, there was a huge difference between the sky spirit and the king of hell. It was simply impossible to defeat. Furthermore, the Book of Life and Death and the Judge Natal Implement, he was definitely not the opponent of the judge. King Yangluo was also furious. I won't kill you, right? The idea sank. The Book of Life and Death was rapidly flipping through his books. It was exactly as the sky spirit said, his name wasn't recorded in the Book of Life and Death. Without a name, it was impossible to lock the soul away. In other words, the heavenly spirit had already left his jurisdiction. That was also why he was unable to kill the heavenly spirit even though his power could only cause heavy injuries. Long Fei was dumbstruck. What the F***ck, there is such a bug in the world. Even King Yama couldn't do anything to him? This is unbelievable. Long Fei was extremely shocked in his heart, and at the same time, he was even more excited. Yuling Guardian Warrior, awesome. He was able to incite the natal implement of the King of Hell, and now even the King of Hell was unable to do anything to him. He had to say it. Awesome. The calf was upside down, and the cow was awe-inspiring to the heavens. The Yang Huang ancestor said slightly, his mother died before he even made a move, but his mother's place is very special, it should be a place of yin fiends. The fetus in his abdomen absorbed this ball of aura, and he was born in the underworld, which also created his body of evil. This kind of person does not belong to a human, and does not belong to a ghost. However, if he's still son, then that's different. Everything in the world is in the 6 paths, he is no exception. If he's still sunny, his strength will not decrease, but his name will appear in the Book of Life and Death. Once we enter the ghost city, King Yama will crush him. Yang Huang ancestor knew a lot. Forget about Sky Martial Continent, even the Chaos Realm was the same. No one could jump out of the 6 paths and not be bound by the cycle of reincarnation. If there was one, it would be a mighty saint, one that would become a saint, one that would become a god. Long Fei asked, Ancestor, what do we do now? What will happen to him? Yang Huang ancestor shook his head, I don't know, although Yama Minamaya couldn't kill him, he didn't have the power to retaliate. Furthermore, this is the ghost city, King Yangluo will definitely have his way. There's still a big move that hasn't been released. Long Fei was even going to be stupefied. The natal implement had already used it, so there was still a big move. At this moment, King Yenluo's voice sank as he coldly roared, You, this body of evil, doesn't have the slightest ability to resist. Can't I kill you? However, I can cut off the hope in your heart. Suddenly, the king of hell moved, his palm pressing down on the heavens. It wasn't an attack on the Holy Spirit. Rather, to Long Fei. Long Fei cursed in his heart, "Fuck, I only have 1 drop of blood left. Fuck, still not letting me go?" A drop of blood. There was only a little bit of blood left on his health point, which was the kind of blood that would die if it was touched. The key point was, Long Fei's entire body was in incomparable pain, he could not move at all. Seeing the palm print that seemed to cover the sky as it pressed down, Long Fei muttered, "Fuck you." Then, he raised his middle finger at the king of hell. Even if he was going to die, he had to at least try his best. King Yama is amazing, right? This father will look down on you. At this moment, the heaven spirit that was covered in blood in the deep pit tensed up. Long Fei was his hope of remaining positive if he died. Then he wouldn't be able to return the favor. Then he wouldn't be able to take his revenge. After waiting for 8 whole years, this was his only chance. His body instantly transformed into a ball of purplish black fog and rushed towards Xiong Longfei. "If you dare to even touch him, I will definitely overturn your entire Ghost City." His gloomy voice exploded in the air above Ghost City. It was also at this moment King Yenluo's movements purposefully slowed down by quite a bit, and a smirk appeared on the corner of his mouth. Yang Huang ancestor's mind trembled. "Damn it." Long Fei said anxiously, "Damn, you say that? You're going to die soon, how can it not be bad?" Yang Huang ancestor slightly said, "I'm not talking about that." Long Fei was a little doubtful. What worse thing could happen than death? It was also at this moment the purple-black fog that was formed by the heavenly spirit enveloped Long Fei. The heavenly spirit clearly knew that Long Fei could not take any of King Yama's attacks, so he had to protect Long Fei. He had to protect it. Therefore, he turned into baleful yin force and rushed over. "Ha ha ha." King Yang Luo suddenly laughed maniacally. "You've been tricked." Suddenly, King Yenluo's other palm struck out with a strange power. His voice was like an explosion in the sky. "Give me 18 levels of hell." Rumble. 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 A binding force descended. It had directly bound the spirits of Long Fei and the baleful yin force, and in that instant, a strong power exploded out from the body of the Yama king, blasting down like thunder. Crack. Rumble. In the small courtyard, Long Fei disappeared. The yin fiend aura had also disappeared. There was no change in the surroundings, only that they had disappeared. King Yama laughed out loud complacently, "Ha ha ha. As the lord of a region, the Ghost City, how can I not take care of you too? Can't deal with you?" The 18th level of the infernal realm. Each level is more dangerous than the last. Refining you all is simply too easy. Ha ha ha. The beautiful woman slowly stood up and looked at the laughing Yama in the sky. She did not feel sad, because she knew that once she entered the 18th level of hell, the power within her son's body would explode without restraint. The king of hell coldly stared at the beautiful woman before saying, "Arrest her for me." Oxhead and Horseface were resurrected. Pressing the beautiful woman onto the ground, the 3 of them disappeared. In another place. Rumble. A loud sound echoed out. Long Fei's vision went black, and after a few seconds, the strong light blinded him. It was as if he had come to another world. At this moment, she turned back into a child and fell into Long Fei's embrace, incomparably weak. Long Fei looked at his surroundings, and asked solemnly, "Where are we?" Yang Huang ancestor said slightly, "This is hell. 18 levels of hell. Here. If my guess is not wrong, it should be the tongue-drawing hell." Yang Huang ancestor let out a light breath, and said, "According to what I know, no one here can escape." Chapter 28_841923566764. Holy Sha *T. Holy Sha *T. Long Fei shouted in a hoarse voice, 18 levels of hell? Can't afford it. Suddenly, the system sounded out. Ding. True Chi points, 100 points. Ding. True Chi points, 100 points. The true Chi's value continued to drop at 100 points per second. Long Fei was a little confused. The true Chi's value is quickly evaporating. Does this hell have the power to devour true Chi? The Yang Huang ancestor said, this is a place specially prepared for the strong. Once the true Chi is used up, no matter how strong you are, you will not be able to use it. F***CK. Damn you, King Yama, you're so ruthless. Long Fei muttered in his heart. At the same time, Long Fei was also secretly clear in his heart. Fortunately, he did not reduce his health point, or else he would be crippled. Seeing that his health point was only left with that little bit, he had a kind of inexplicable fear that even a little brat would be able to take his life. The Yang Huang ancestor replied, the attack of the King of Hell is actually directed at the yin energy. He knows that the yin energy will protect you, so with you as the bait, the moment the yin energy comes into contact with you, he will accompany you to the 18th level of hell. Long Fei said, that means, if he didn't come in contact with me, he wouldn't be trapped by the King of Hell? Yes. I am afraid his physique is the most peculiar. He is not a human, a ghost, a demon, or a demon. He is formed by a mass of yin aura that has gathered in his body. The Yang Huang ancestor said. Indeed. The sky spirit was very powerful. The continuous barrage of attacks even shattered the palm of the Yama king. This kind of power was extremely shocking. Furthermore, he did not have to use all of his strength to break through the ancestor's seal. Huff. Long Fei exhaled a long breath. It's already useless to speak of this now. I must kill the King of Hell. The key thing is, if I were to leave this 18 levels of hell. In addition, could Sister Xie Qin's 3 souls and 7 souls be here? Long Fei muttered. He wanted to understand the situation here as soon as possible, but he did not immediately move, because he only had a bit of health point at the moment. The only way to recover it was through the power of regeneration. He needed time to wait. He would be able to use it after 12 o'clock in the morning. Right now, there was still a bit of time until morning. He needed to calm down and wait. While waiting, Long Fei did not stay idle as he continued to think of a method to deal with the King of Hell. Every boss had its weakness. It was just that he had yet to be discovered. Once he found a way to defeat them, it would be easy. After thinking for an entire hour, Long Fei still could not think of any good countermeasures. Huff. Alright, since I can't think of a way to deal with you, then I can only think of a way to increase my own strength. There are only 4 multiple shadows S, it's too few. If I can have more clones, it would be even more interesting. The entire city would be his clones. If that's the case. Long Fei muttered. Suddenly, he thought of a discordant scene. If we can conjure up a demon fox girl, then. He quickly comprehended it in his mind. His mind was spinning. The power of comprehension was slowly increasing, 200% of the power of comprehension. No, it's still not enough. It's still too difficult to comprehend those moves. Even if it's difficult, we have to continue. Another hour passed. Long Fei tried to transform into the demonic core girl, but failed. There was no clue at all. He had no choice. Long Fei could only comprehend another technique. If I could comprehend the level of a level Saiyang, would I be able to instantly kill King Yama? Buzz. Fail. Buzz. Comprehension failed. Failure. Still failed. Everything was too difficult. Long Fei's mental energy quickly sank into exhaustion, and he was unable to endure it any longer. It was best to let it go. My current state is simply not suitable for me to comprehend anything. It's better to take a good rest and wait for your body to recover before thinking about anything else. Heavily injured. There was only a little bit of HP left. To comprehend skills required one to be at the state of heaven-man unity, required one to be focused on nothing. Long Fei was unable to do it right now, because he had no idea what would happen in the next second in hell. Any random person could take his or her life. Moreover, he had an unconscious soul by his side, so he had to take good care of it. There are only a few minutes left. I hope nothing bad will happen after that. Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Before he could finish, 2 evil spirits walked over from afar, and saw Long Fei sitting there with blood dripping from his face, holding a small child in his arms. Just now, when the 18 levels of the gates of hell opened, it should have been him, right? If he ends up in hell with us, it'll be our fate. What it means is that I'll let him experience the entire 18 levels of hell, especially that bald boy in my bosom. He even says that I'm going to refine him with baleful yin force. In the blink of an eye, the two little ghosts landed beside Long Fei. Long Fei muttered, "Damn it, I can really do whatever I want." "Kid, what did you say?" An evil ghost coldly snorted as it held a hook in its hand. Long Fei immediately changed into a beautiful smile, and said, "Ghost Grandpa, I just said, why do the two of you look so handsome?" "Ha ha ha. I didn't expect my handsomeness to reach such a stage where even men can be enchanted." The evil ghost complacently laughed and even wiped his face as he spoke. He took a pose that he thought was very handsome. Actually, Long Fei's stomach churned. He really wanted to vomit, but he endured it. Marshall can't be used as a meal. Stop wasting time with him. Let's take him back first and give him to Master Luo. Another evil spirit said. Sigh. Calm down, isn't giving it to the Lord pulling his tongue out with a hook? There's no point in doing that. In this tongue-drawing hell, all of you are mute and unable to speak. Today, someone came here with great difficulty. So what if he praises me a little more? He liked being praised as handsome by Long Fei. He turned to Long Fei and said, "Brat, I know you're ugly, but with that stupid look of yours, if you go out you will scare the sow to death. When you see my handsome appearance, you must be captivated, right? It's a pity that I'm not gay. However, don't worry, as long as you can say out the 10 handsome places, I will consider temporarily not luring you." Long Fei had scolded him in his heart for 18 generations of ancestors. However, it was still a little short of time, but Long Fei was still as radiant as a flower in spring, and said, "You're handsome, everyone says that the balding man is the most manly. You have a handsome nose. People say that a pig's nose is the most handsome. You have a handsome mouth. People always say that a dog's mouth." The evil ghost heard that something was wrong and said angrily, "Brat, you're scolding me. Do you think that I'm stupid enough to not recognize you?" Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, and laughed coldly, "I am scolding you. Time is up." Chapter 38_841923566765. Time is up. Time is up. The cooldown of the power of regeneration ended. At this moment, Long Fei immediately used the power of regeneration the moment he moved, his health point also rapidly rising back to 1000 points. It was really difficult. Long Fei slowly stood up and said, "You look like a pig." "No. Comparing you to a pig is an insult to a pig. You say you look like a ghost with your head off, pustules all over your face, sores in your ears, water leaking from your mouth and dislocated chin. He's also the ugliest ghost in history. You. This lord is so handsome." The evil ghost was so angry that it could not speak. Long Fei took a step forward, and said, "Handsome? Do you know how to write, Commander? If you're this handsome, then you won't be ugly all over. If I were you, I would just smash myself to death. There's no meaning in living." "No, that's not right. You haven't even had a fart that's interesting. At the very least, you should be able to make some noise with a little bit of effort. What about you? The most you can't wring out is fart, it's extremely stinky." Long Fei spoke extremely quickly, like a cannonball, he shot out continuously. Fut! The evil ghost couldn't hold back any longer and directly spat out a mouthful of blood. A bright red number floated above his head, critical hit, 1,000,000 points. He pointed at Long Fei and said, You didn't say anything for a long time." His eyes rolled up as he fell on the ground and twitched a few times. He died. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing tongue-drawing demon for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi, 900 points, energy values, 1 point. Heh. The experience points is not bad. Long Fei glanced at his experience points. Right now, he was at the 7th level of the War Master. It's a good place to level, but there aren't many evil spirits. However, Long Fei was the other evil spirit. An ominous glint appeared in his eyes as the iron hook in his hand quickly attacked. Long Fei's mouth formed a smile, and his right hand clenched. "Blade, come, Buzz. The dragon Salia landed in Long Fei's hands, not waiting for his iron hook to fall. A blade was placed on his neck. Try moving a bit more. Plop. That evil ghost kneeled on the ground. Please spare me. Please spare me. I am just a little brat. I have 80 mothers and a 3-year-old child. If you kill me, they are finished. Have your sister's mother. Long Fei kicked him and said, how many of you are there in total in this underworld? He wanted to level up. If he couldn't find a way to kill the King of Hell, then there was only one way, to increase his own strength. Thus, upgrade was crucial. That evil ghost counted with his fingers and said, I can't even count that. Tongue Extraction City is full of our people. Please don't go, sir. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei carried the dragon Salia on his shoulder and laughed excitedly. And then, he carried the celestial spirit on his back and murmured, this should be your heaven, right? Those who were able to enter the 18 hells were all extremely vicious. Their infernal energy should be extremely dense, and it was extremely beneficial for the heavenly souls to absorb baleful yin force. It was heaven. The sky spirit did not say anything, but the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. He laughed. The malevolence and ruthlessness in his heart continued to laugh crazily. King Yama, you idiot, do you think that I have fallen for your trap? I didn't know that you were the one who fell for your father's trap. Ha ha ha. The 18 levels of hell. I've finally arrived at these 18 levels. Woo ha ha ha. The power within the celestial spirit was laughing wildly. Just as Long Fei had said, this place was paradise for him. Along the way, Long Fei kept asking. The 18 levels of hell were divided into hell, 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 hell. Each level of hell had a city. There were also city lords that corresponded to it. The King of Hell was one of them. In terms of strength, Oxhead and Horseface were the heroic generals of Yama King. The cultivation of these Hell's city lords were much stronger than Oxhead and Horseface. They were truly the heroic generals of Yama. In the infernal realm, there were some people that were extremely vicious and wanted to imprison him. These people all had one common trait in mind, valiant. However, being strong in the infernal realm is completely useless because it is impossible to obtain true chi. Without the support of the true chi, you are like a mage without a blue number. Even if you had the power of taboos, you wouldn't be able to use it. This was the most lethal part. To Long Fei, the consumption of true chi was also extremely fatal. In just an hour, he had exhausted 36,000 true chi-s. In a single day, he had consumed over 700,000 true chi-s. Long Fei's current total of true chi-s was only around 50,000 points. One day would be used up. As he watched the true chi drop bit by bit, he began to secretly become anxious. True chi. It was a hard wound. I need to get to the tutorial hell as soon as possible. Long Fei thought that once they were in the Pull Tongue hell, he would be able to kill them. This way, the true chi would be replenished. He didn't have to worry about anything else. You dare to take a detour? You're looking to die, right? Long Fei moved, purposely scaring the little demon. Actually, he didn't know if he had taken a detour, he only knew that he couldn't continue on like this. The little ghost immediately knelt down, saying, I didn't. The little demon was also secretly anxious. Why hasn't this guy used up all his true chi? It's already been almost 10 hours, so logically speaking, with his cultivation level, he should have already used up all his true chi. He was well aware of how many true chi there were at the 7th level of the War Master, but Long Fei's true chi was not used up. Seeing his flustered expression, Long Fei immediately slashed down without a second word, and coldly said, if you dare bring about another detour, then your next move will be the head of a ghost leaving the body. I don't dare. I don't dare. I won't dare to do it again. The little kid endured the pain and thought in his heart, I'll help you if you want to die. After walking for about 10 minutes, the little ghost pointed ahead and said, I've arrived at the Tongshu city. There's nothing ahead, you dare to lie to me. Long Fei pressed the blade against the little demon's neck. The little guy trembled as he said, there is a valley ahead. The tongue-drawing city is within that valley. If you can't do it, you can just go and watch. This is also the passage to Scissor Hell. Long Fei walked forward to take a look, and his face revealed shock. It was exactly as the little ghost had said, a huge canyon. The canyon was brightly lit, and a huge city sat in the middle of the canyon. Countless howls of agony sounded out. This is the tongue-in-cheek hell? Just as Long Fei turned to look, he realized that the little ghost had already disappeared. And then, Long Fei looked at the tongue-drawing city in the canyon and the idea moved, ice and fire. Shua. Ice and fire flew out, excitedly saying, understood. 36O search. Half floating / / equals Xiao Bai. Understood. Xiao Bai Lang also rushed out of war pet space. Long Fei said excitedly, get ready to kill. Chapter 48_841923566766. The King of Hell must be killed. The King of Hell must be killed. If there's no way to deal with him, then I'll become stronger myself. Shua. Long Fei jumped off the cliff, dove down with ice and fire, and let Long Fei land on his back. And then, pointed to the center of the city and said, charge down. Bing Hua's throat rolled as he said excitedly, Master, do you want a shot first? Absolutely. Bing Hua and Xiao Bai were his war pet, so the experience they gained was all his. Rumble. Just like a train passing by, the ice fire throat rumbled and rolled. Following that, it opened its mouth and slammed down on the best building it had ever built. Rumble. The huge fireball was like a meteorite falling from the sky. It illuminated the entire tongue extraction valley. What's that? Why did a huge fireball appear? Who is it? Quickly report to the city lord that someone is ambushing the tongue-drawing city. A sneak attack on tongue extraction city? How is that possible? Anyone who enters the 18 levels of hell will have their true chi dwindle. Who can launch a sneak attack? The many evil spirits did not understand, but why? Who would have the guts to do so? To dare to come to the 18th floor of the infernal realm and behave so wildly, isn't that just courting death? The kid with the severed hand hurriedly ran into the city and shouted, enemy attack! Enemy attack! This guy is the person who just entered the tattoo hell. How high is this person's cultivation? The underworld branch that we're in charge of in the South Horizon region, could this person be a War King ranker in the South Horizon region? Impossible. It's been so many years since there's a War King ranker in the South Horizon region. The only War King experts are all imprisoned in our 18th floor of hell. This person is the War Master Reem, and the true chi is especially profound. I delayed for 10 hours and still did not exhaust all of his true chi. Everyone, quickly prepare. This guy is not simple at all. Then, everyone was staring at the toddler. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Just how did the War Master scare you to such an extent, and even cut off your hand? You are truly a piece of trash. I thought it was the attacks of the War King warriors, a mere trash of the War Master Reem. Watch me. Suddenly, before the fireball could hit the ground, an evil ghost took a step forward and rushed towards the ice and fire in the sky. The iron hook in his hand released a charming power, kid, die. At this moment, a white shadow attacked. He swallowed him in one gulp. After chewing a few times, the iron hook in his hand fell down with a bang. Then, not even a single strand of hair remained. Dead. Everyone's face turned cold. There are 2 more war pet. The handicapped brat anxiously said, I've already said that he is not simple. Quickly go and report this to the mayor, it will be too late if you are too late. At this moment, rumble, rumble. The fireball exploded, smashing into the city lord's mansion. The entire canyon shook violently, and the tongue-drawing city was even more shaky. Countless buildings collapsed from the impact, and people couldn't even stand steadily. The city lord's mansion turned into a pile of ruins. Ding, 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 ding. The system beep went berserk. His experience points soared madly. Long Fei laughed. That's right, Fei 1, great. The entire City Lord's mansion was in ruins as it continued to burn. A fireball exploded and half of the tongue-drawing city was set ablaze. Looking at the ruins of the City Lord's mansion, the evil spirit's eyes darkened. It's over. It's over, it's over. The mayor is finished. He hasn't come out even now. He's definitely going to be burned to death. Oh my God. Is the War Master Reem that strong? How is that possible? The evil spirits felt their scalps go numb as they looked at the huge fire that covered the city. There were countless cells on both sides of the canyon. As they looked at the huge fire raging in the city, they all began to clamor crazily. It was just that. They could only scream out woo, but couldn't utter even half a word, because all of their tongues had been pulled out. However, from their expressions, it was easy to tell that they were very excited. No one had ever been able to do it. In these 18 levels of hell, there had never been one. Even if you were a war god, a war king ranker would not be able to do it, much less someone from the War Master Reem. Looking at Long Fei's sky demon set in the sky, the two wings of the sky demon beast fluttered in the wind, the sky demon armor shone with a black light, the sky demon's aura on its body was extremely wild. Adding that to the fact that Long Fei was standing on the dragon's head, carrying the dragon Salia on his shoulder and holding the god's devil blade in his hands, two sets of blade aura were revolving around his body. That scene was simply so cool that it was crappy to the point of crumbs. His watch had exploded. The evil spirits in the city wailed. All of them rushed to the City Lord's square. Seeing the City Lord's mansion burning crazily, there was nothing they could do. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The ground began to crack and the ground of the City Lord's mansion started to rise, as if a monster was about to rush out of the ground. Who is disturbing my sleep? You want to die, right? Bang, bang, bang. The ground of the huge City Lord's mansion started to crack one by one, and an aura of death seeped out of the cracks. A dark green deathly aura filled the entire plaza. Rumble. With a loud bang, the ground of the City Lord's mansion that was burning crazily suddenly exploded. A huge monster-like person rushed out from the ground. He held a huge iron hook in his hand, and his aura was extremely savage. The 18th floor. The first boss, Tongue-Draw City Lord. His physique was incomparably large, not much smaller than Yama Minamaya. Moreover, the aura his body was emitting was extremely brutal and oppressive. This aura alone was enough to crush anything in its path. F***CK. Boss. Long Fei's eyes shone with a bright light, he gulped down his saliva, as though he was looking at a beautiful young lady, and wished that he could swallow her whole. He didn't die. The mayor isn't dead, ha ha ha. Kid, just wait for your death. Those imprisoned in the cell continued to retreat. Many among them spat out blood from the crushing pressure and were unable to withstand the pressure brought by the City Lord's powerful aura. At the same time, everyone's heart sank. With the City Master's appearance, Long Fei was about to die. Rumble. Long Fei landed heavily, looked at the incomparably gigantic City Lord, and sneered, "It's really big enough." He placed the spirit on the dragon's back and said, "Ice and fire, you just need to protect the spirit." He looked at the unconscious sky spirit and said faintly, "I don't care if you are really unconscious or just faking it. You can absorb as much as I kill. I will not restrict your strength. I will only be excited by your strength." Finished. Ice and fire flew into the air. Long Fei pointed at the City Lord, who was standing outside the ravine, and said coldly, "If I want to destroy hell, I'll start from you." The City Lord was enraged. "What arrogant words. It seems like I have to pull your tongue out. Killers, kill for me." Chapter 5, Request for monthly votes 8_841923566767. With a command from the City Lord, all the evil spirits charged towards Xiong Longfei. With a command from the City Lord, all the evil spirits charged towards Xiong Longfei. "I'm just afraid that you won't come," Long Fei coldly said, 3-rate peerless technique. Boom. With the 8 times attribute released, Long Fei dragged the god's devil blade on his left hand and the dragon Salia on his right, the two ferocious blades on the ground, and rushed forward with lightning speed and blaze. Boom! Putting away his blade, the dragon Salya slashed down. An evil spirit was killed. Ding! The system beep rang. He did not use any cultivation technique, other than wushuang. Long Fei did not use any other techniques, because he was afraid that he would not be able to use them. The consumption of true Qi was too huge. Any random set of cultivation technique would cost more than 10,000 true Qi. What Long Fei lacked the most right now was true Qi. Thus, it was all a melee, he didn't need any martial arts. Kill. Shua. With a move of the berserk blade, the head of one of the evil spirits was chopped off. Long Fei was also immediately surrounded, while more and more evil spirits rushed over from the plaza. Roar! Xiao Bai turned into a giant wolf, crazily biting and devouring everything in its path. Long Fei relied on his previous life's gaming experience, his coquettish positioning, and that kind of swaying horizontal slash, trying hard not to let his body slow down even a little. He was like a man who was swaying about, slashing out and slashing at the air with a ghost-like gait. Every time he attacked, he would strike with his full strength. Even if he didn't die, he would at least die. As long as one of them was crippled, he would be able to charge over and give a fierce beating. Boom! Boom! After the limbs flew for a long while, blood sprayed all over the ground, and the evil spirits rushed over crazily to massacre Long Fei. The city lord was furious. Very unhappy. A group of trash that can't even kill a tiny war master Reem, what's the use of keeping all of you alive? Immediately, the city lord was furious, the giant iron hook in his hand moved, sweeping across Xiong Longfei. Xiao Bai shouted loudly, and said, "Master, be careful." The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back as he muttered, "It's time to release the true Qi that I've been accumulating for such a long time." Ghost steps, whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk his footsteps were like a ghost, flickering in the crowd, he stepped out, moonlit step. Whoosh. He immediately leaped into the air, retracted his wild blade, and tightly gripped the dragon Salya. In his fury, the demon aura on his body fused with the darkness aura on the dragon Salya. Exploding forth, the figure of the dark dragon god roared, released a dragon roar, and soared to the sky, taking action. One slash. The dragon Salya raised it above his head and slashed down. Long Fei also fell down from the sky. The dragon spirit shadow in the air also transformed into saber Qi, slashing down from the center of the city lord's forehead. Boom. Ah! It hurts, it hurts. The city lord let out a painful scream, a series of bright red damage floating above his head. However, Long Fei was shocked. Fuck, 50 million HP. It was too thick. The city lord's health was simply too high. Moreover, in the instant that Long Fei's blade smashed onto the ground that he was standing on suddenly sank in, a few snake-like tongues extended out from the ground, and directly bound his legs. Ah! The tongue was like the tentacles of an octopus, covered with countless of suction cups, all of them rolling up and absorbing the true Qi in Long Fei's body crazily. Ding! True Qi 100 points. Ding! True Qi 100 points. Originally, those 100 points per second would instantly drop by 1,000 points if they were caught by the tongue. This way, the true Qi in Long Fei's body wouldn't even need half an hour to be completely sucked dry. Woo-ha-ha-ha. He's probably trapped by my 10,000 tongue array. These tongues were all pulled out from the mouths of you people. All of them have been refined by me. Just wait to be sucked dry. Ah, ha, ha. Long Fei's mind went cold, and in his heart he shouted, "Heart Sutra, open." Buzz buzz buzz. The image of the Kittigaba monarch appeared around his body immediately, spinning frantically. At the same time, he was chanting a sutra crazily, and the power of the evil suppression, with Long Fei as the center, quickly spread outwards. The Heart Sutra was the absolute nemesis of these things. Those tongues that were wrapped around Long Fei were quickly cleansed, withered just like flowers. The city lord frowned. "Heart Sutra? Do you know a lot?" Long Fei once again leaped up, and waved 3 blades, demon, 3-blade stream, ghost slash, swish. The 3 sabers, which were as white as crescent moons, slashed out horizontally. Another scarlet number appeared on the master of the tongue-drawing city's head. Ah, ah! The city lord screamed. He opened his bloody mouth and covered the sky with his tongue. I'm going to eat you. His tongue curled. Long Fei frowned as he looked at the massive amount of blood on the head of the city lord, and thought to himself, this won't do. I can't take him. Even if I still have the heavenly demon heart sutra to recover my true chi, I won't be able to do anything to him. 50 million HP is too much. He's not dead yet, but I'll be using up my true chi at that time. Seeing that huge tongue curling towards him, Long Fei made a decision. Don't worry about that. Let's take a gamble. The city lord had too much HP and his defense was not weak. Even though Long Fei could cause 100,000 points injuries every time, but his true chi was like a flood that was being violently spat out. Once his true chi was exhausted, he would not be able to shake the city lord at all. He was determined to take the risk. In a single fight, the bike would become a motorbike. Long Fei protected his mind and was immediately trapped by the city lord. The instant he was caught, the city lord laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha. Brat, prepare to die. With a flick of his tongue, he directly pulled Long Fei into his mouth. Gudong. He laughed out loud. My stomach's refining power is faster than the entire tongue-drawing hell. Just wait for me to refine you into a desiccated corpse. Ha ha ha. He was laughing maniacally. He laughed maniacally. The instant Long Fei was swallowed into his stomach, his entire world changed. The city lord's body was densely packed with mummified corpses. They were incomparably sinister as they were pounced on by countless little skeletons and skeletons. It was an extremely terrifying scene to behold. Moreover, the true chi in Long Fei's body fell even faster than it fell when it was caught by his tongue. It dropped 1,500 points per second. You fell for his trap. Long Fei frowned. Who cares if he's tricked or not? I will definitely screw you. Crack. After consuming one steel mixture, Long Fei's body instantly doubled in size. His cultivation reached War Emperor realm in an instant and the power of the War Emperor spread throughout his entire body. Long Fei floated in mid-air, looking at the sky full of skeleton corpses. They all flew towards him. Strongest upgrade system. Zhongxian was infuriated. The aura of the sky demon came out crazily, his eyes darkened, and he coldly said, I want to see if you can absorb it fast, or if I can kill it fast. Multiple shadows. 8 clones, open. Chapter 68_841923566768. Boom, 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 boom. In that instant, Long Fei's mind seemed to flash with inspiration, and taking this moment, Long Fei's idea moved and fused, directly releasing the multiple shadows that he had not yet comprehended. It used to be 4 clones, but now, 8. Moreover, Long Fei's heart stirred as he said to the Yang Huang ancestor, Ancestor, please give them some strength. Yang Huang ancestor's voice became heavy. Understood. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 7 surges of power were released and directly wrapped around the 7 clones. They weren't an attack, but rather a defense. This way, they would be able to take a few more hits. 8 clones, 8 gods devil body. 8 dragon salya. At that moment, Long Fei's eyes were filled with anger. He bellowed, kill, rumble. The 8 of them moved at the same time. The dragon salya in their hands swung down crazily, one after another, turning into a pile of broken corpses that fell into the deep abyss. It was also at this moment. A large expanse of system beep also resounded in Long Fei's mind. Ding, 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 ding. The berserk slashes did not stop there. He unceasingly released the dragon spirit killer, turning the body of the city lord into a battlefield, and continued to attack. Every time they attacked, a large part of the dried corpses would be chopped into pieces. Below the corpses was a bottomless black hole. Swallow your father. Does it feel good to swallow now? Long Fei roared in rage. The dragon salya in his hands moved like lightning, killing madly. Damn it, what are you doing with my body in front of you? Ah, ah. At the same time, the amount of HP left on his head also continued to decrease. The city lord then sat down cross-legged and shouted in a deep voice, Kid, Just you wait. Yuan's spirit leaves the body. Shua. A stream of light entered his body. Next. In the bottomless black hole, an incomparably huge skeleton stood up from the abyss. It looked even more powerful than the city lord's massive body. Trash, I will suck your body dry, and refine your soul into the everlasting seal in my body. The giant skeleton's body emitted a glow, which was like the glow of a ghost's flame. Yang Huang ancestor reminded him, "Brat, don't touch it. When your soul refines the fire, the moment it touches your soul, it will be poisoned. Do not touch it." Long Fei's gaze tensed up as he thought to himself, Hell's 18th floor, the boss of the first floor is already so fierce, how strong is the boss below? However, I like it. The stronger it is, the more likely it is to drop something. Woo-ha-ha. Long Fei was a madman. Even though he had been crushed into a drop of blood by Yama Minamaya, he was still able to laugh out loud. Even though the city lord was so cruel, he was still very excited. The corners of Long Fei's mouth slightly shivered as he faced the soul-tempering fire shooting over. He said with a cold smile, "Is your primordial spirit coming out of the body?" Heh. The idea moved. Long Fei's idea connected to Xiao Bai and Bing Hua and said, "Both of you, aim for the body of the city lord and attack him with your life." And then, Long Fei moved ghost steps, launching the soul evil fire's attack. He leapt into the air and slashed at the gigantic skull. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, his 7 clones were all killed by the soul evil fire. Long Fei's dragon-slaying slash also crashed down. Rumble. A halo of light exploded from the skull. The light halo formed a boundary, and when Long Fei struck, the halo only had a slight scratch. Whoosh. Clang. The dragon Salia flew out of his hand from the shock. Long Fei was bounced back as well. Ah, ha, ha. With just this little bit of strength, it's not even enough to tickle me. The city lord laughed maniacally. Long Fei was sent flying into the group of dried corpses, and was immediately bound by a large group of dried corpses. The dragon Salia was also quickly delivered to the city lord's hands by the dried corpses. The city lord laughed coldly. Dragon Salia? It's just a pity. He hasn't reached the level of a supreme artifact yet. From the looks of it, you are someone from the Long family? I never thought that there would be such a useless person in Long family. The city lord seemed to understand the Long family a lot. When one obtained the dragon Salia, one instantly knew that Long Fei was someone from the Long family, and he said that Long Fei was trash. Did that mean that the people from the Long family were all awesome in the past? Just what kind of existence was the Long family? In the past, Long Fei felt that the Long family was a great clan of the Fireglass City. The more he thought about it now, the more he felt that the Long family was not simple. His father had entered the immortal domain. His ancestors killed the dragon god. What kind of awesome existence was the dragon god, to actually kill him? The Long family is very strong. Long Fei felt more and more that she was very strong. Today, I will use your Long family's legendary weapon to kill you. The city lord laughed wildly as he slashed at Xiong Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and said, "Cut me down? I wonder who will be the first to attack." At this moment, rumble. An incomparably thick wolf god's lance pierced through the city lord's head and into his stomach. The sharp spear shone as it stabbed into his stomach. At this time, rumble. The flames filled the skies, burning the entire city lord. Rumble. The second spear pierced through. It wasn't the same one. This one was even more brutal than the last one, and it was even more powerful. Moreover, at the same time, the city lord's body froze, cold air seeping into his body. Rumble. The third spear pierced through. The fourth pillar. The fifth pillar. They had not seen each other for a while, but Xiao Bai's power was already far beyond his imagination. Looking at the densely packed spears of the wolf god, Long Fei couldn't help but think of a hero, the Spear of Vengeance. I really want to. His entire body was filled with holes. Moreover, these pikes were all covered with simple lines and traces of energy flowed between the lines. All of this energy could be released by Xiao Bai. The heck? Long Fei was shocked. Moreover, the power of fire and ice had also risen to a terrifying degree. A single flame and a single block of ice was enough to make one unable to stop. The city lord was infuriated. Damn it, to actually turn my body into this, all of you have to die. Die? Who died? Long Fei frowned. Heart Sutra. Open. When the Heart Sutra opened, all of the little desiccated corpses were immediately forced to retreat. It was as if they were bugs seeing flames. There was no one behind Long Fei. All of the dried-up ghosts had fled, allowing Long Fei to see the belly of the city lord. Long Fei's fists exploded, as he poured his demonic chi into his fists, rushing thunder fists. Advertisement equals semi-floating life plus, boom, as soon as he finished. Long Fei madly smashed at the city master's stomach, not caring about the huge skeleton pulling the tongue out. He wanted to attack. Destroy his body. Chapter 78_841923566769. Bang, 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 bang. It smashed wildly. Long Fei's fists were lightning fast as they struck against a point on the flesh, the force of his punches causing blood to gush out crazily. The city lord had used his primordial spirit to transform into a giant skeleton. He couldn't feel the pain coming from his body, but he was furious beyond compare. The top of his head was already filled with the wolf god's lances. His body was charred black and frozen. His body was rapidly rotting. Coupled with Long Fei's critical strike, it was simply, ah! The skeleton city lord was furious and attacked Xiong Longfei with its blade. However, but the dragon Salia could not cut it down. Dark dragon god on the back of the blade roared back. Long Fei did not stop, and said with a cold smile, Dragon Salia is not something that anyone can use. You won't be able to use this kind of evil thing. Dragon Salia could deal multiple times more damage to evil beings. Evil beings could not even use Dragon Salia S, not even if they were ordinary people. The Dragon Salia was Long Fei's natal implement. Because the Dragon Salia was personally raised by Long Fei. It was fused by him. He had killed Demon Beast for him to absorb. Furthermore, he had obtained the Underworld King Bloodvein, which allowed him to completely transform and activate the Dark Dragon God's essence to truly remove his veil. Even though Long Fei didn't know that the Dragon Salia was his own natal implement, but he knew that he was the only one who could use it. There was one other thing he did not know. There was another reason why he could only use the Dragon Salia. Because he's from the Long family. Damn it! The city lord roared. The idea moved, and Soul Evil Fire S spouted out from his body continuously. Dozens of Soul Evil Fire S shot towards Xiong Longfei crazily. Huff, huff. The dark green-colored flame shot towards Xiong Longfei. Yang Huang Ancestor slightly said, 3 more seconds. 2 seconds. 1 second. Kid, quickly dodge it. Long Fei's fists were like lightning. He did not dodge, but in the last 10% of a second, he roared, break for me. Rumble. A punch shattered the belly of the city lord and his body flew out. In this instant, Long Fei roared once again, Xiao Bai, explode. Xiao Bai grinned and laughed excitedly. Boss, I'll let you experience my big move. At this moment, the top of the city lord's head was filled with the wolf god's spears. They were densely packed, just like a spear that was about to soar into the sky. Xiao Bai's idea sunk. His wolf god's power linked to the wolf god's lance, the ancient patterns on the wolf god's lance started to flicker, and then moved. The idea S unleashed their power. Rumble. 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 It exploded like crazy. When the city lord saw the wolf god's spear explode, he shouted, no. His body exploded. The little ghosts were all turned to dust. His head exploded. His body shot out piece by piece, and the amount of health on his head dropped rapidly as well, falling by a large amount. This tempo was too refreshing. Long Fei grinned, Tongue City's master. I'll pull you out first today. Seeing the city master's body continuously exploding, Long Fei grinned and said, this is just a big move. This was the first time he had felt Xiao Bai's big move. It was really fierce. At the same time, Long Fei thought of a very important question. Could Yama Minamaya explode to death like this? Holy sh**t. This might be the breakthrough point. Long Fei's little heart started to beat faster. The 50 million HP quickly fell. But, suddenly, when his HP stopped at 1 million HP, he stopped moving. Other than the experience gained from killing the little ghosts and the true Qi, the system had not reminded him to kill the city lord of tongue draw. Long Fei looked at the health bar of over 1 million points, and his heart quivered. He's not dead yet? Xiao Bai's face was full of pride as he laughed. Master, you're not dead yet? Then I'll do it again. He was very smug right now. Because Long Fei was shocked, and because of his powerful techniques, he was extremely smug. However, at this moment, the place Xiao Bai was standing on suddenly sunk. You dare injure my flesh, I will twist off your head. An eerie roar came from deep underground. A huge skeletal hand pulled Xiao Bai's leg, bringing him straight into the dark abyss. Long Fei's face changed. Xiao Bai. At the same time, Long Fei jumped into the darkness of the abyss, only to see the city lord's huge skeleton pulling Xiao Bai towards a gigantic torture device. A tongue-drawing torture device. The city lord's body was burning with soul evil fire. Xiao Bai immediately fainted. The city lord then flung Xiao Bai onto the rack. You dare to blow up my body, I will let you have a taste of the pain of being tongue-tied. The iron hook moved, breaking open Xiao Bai's wolf mouth. The hook snaked down. Ah! Teleport. Shua. Long Fei was infuriated by this as he took a step forward and made a grasping motion with his right hand. Dragon Salia. Within the ruins. The Dragon Salia fiercely charged forward and instantly landed in Long Fei's hands. With a move of Long Fei's, a drop of his blood essence condensed. Drip. It landed on the Dragon Salia. The Dragon Salia absorbed the blood essence. Inside the Dragon Salia, the ferocious dark dragon god's eyes lit up. The blood of the Long family's people? Zero purity? Interesting, it seems. The purity of the dragon blood in that person's body is also zero, right? All right, little fellow, on account of your ancestors, seeing you let me absorb a decent amount of blood vein for such a long time, I'll give you some power. Suddenly, the dragon Salia began to rage. Long Fei was a little unable to control it. This power was truly too strong. It was not up to him to control the knife. Rather, the Dragon Salia had its own consciousness. Long Fei was even controlled by this power. No matter who it was, as long as it could save Xiao Bai, it would be fine even if it meant taking his life. Dark Dragon God was enraged. The dragon spirit shadow on the Dragon Salia's back immediately transformed into a physical entity, roared, and charged out. He bit down on the city lord, whose entire body was filled with soul evil fire, and then directly charged into the air. It disappeared. The city lord had disappeared. The ferocious dark dragon god also disappeared. Everything happened in the blink of an eye, making people think that it was just an illusion. In the blink of an eye. Inside the Dragon Salia, the city lord who had pulled the tongue trembled because an incomparably large dark dragon god was staring at him. His body was enormous. However, in front of this dark dragon god, he was just like an ant. That feeling of being crushed caused him to not even have the courage to die. He looked at Dark Dragon God. The Dark Dragon God was also looking at him. Look at me, look at me. Then, the Dark Dragon God moved and swallowed the city lord. With a cracking sound, he also swallowed the soul evil fire in one gulp. It was also at this time. A system announcement rang out in Long Fei's mind. Ding. Chapter 8. First 8 chapters in the morning. There was still an update for today. It was to be delivered tonight. Today was March 1st. The C was asking for monthly tickets. If he had monthly tickets, he would have to lend a hand. Thank you very much. 8_8419235670. The system sounded out, and in that moment, Long Fei moved his body, released the berserk energy. The system sounded out, and in that moment, Long Fei moved his body, released the berserk energy. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Tongue Draw City's master. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing Tongue Draw City's master for gaining 1 experience point, 1 and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Soul Evil Fire. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Holy Artifact Life Reaper Hook. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the secret ghost technique, Primordial Spirit. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the tongue-drawing King Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Holy Artifact Skeleton Scepter. The system beep continued to attack. It was also at this moment. The system rang out once again. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for slaying Level 1 Hell's Tongue-Draw City Lord. Special reward. Level 1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Master level 8. And at this moment, Long Fei's injuries had all recovered, the value of the true chi had risen to the maximum, and he felt an indescribably comfortable sensation. Awesome. Patriarch. I'm not looking at the power of the two holy artifact, I know you need energy now, you ate them both. Long Fei did not want to look at the holy artifact's attributes, he was afraid of liver pain. The Yang Huang ancestor did not hold back, the two holy artifact immediately wolfed them down. After exhaling a breath, he muttered, if only there were a few more, it would be good. Her eyes shone as she stared at the thing inside Long Fei's space ring. Long Fei immediately yelled, eat me up. Yang Huang ancestor laughed and said, just kidding. I can take care of these two holy artifact. Boy, I'll go cultivate for a bit. The 18th level of hell was simply too dangerous. Yang Huang ancestor was very worried. Right now, he was also seizing every second to cultivate, thinking in his heart, I have to refine the power of Emperor Yang Huang as soon as possible. And then, Long Fei checked the items. Soul Evil Fire. I can release this power into my skill, allowing it to have soul attack power. Touch rate, 5, F***CK. Isn't that the same as turning skills into high-quality skills? Cultivate. Long Fei immediately said, excited, the Soul Evil Fire's attribute being able to cause the other party's soul to be poisoned, it must be very fierce. Tongue-drawing King Blood Vein. Before Long Fei could finish speaking, the blood vein disappeared. It was swallowed by the dragon Salia. Long Fei exhaled, when will it be my turn to fuse with the blood vein? Yuan's spirit leaves the body. Long Fei's heart trembled. He had seen such a powerful technique in myths and movies. The primordial spirit transformed into a stream of light that entered the place he wanted to enter. Moreover, it could change. However, can the primordial spirit leave the body here to change? Long Fei could not help but think of the 72 transformations he had seen in the Sun Wukong. The monkey's transformations were not transformed using the primordial spirit, so when Long Fei saw the primordial spirit's outward attribute, the corners of his mouth slightly curled up as he said excitedly, cultivate. Although it still can't change, but it's not bad to peek at a girl taking a bath. Also, if the primordial spirit is able to cultivate the primordial spirit out of the body, the primordial spirit will be more able to withstand the mental strength of the sea of consciousness and thus, there's no need to worry about its pressure. With a move of the idea S, Long Fei also cultivated his primordial spirit out of his body. After checking everything out, the holy artifact was eaten by the ancestor, and the blood vein was swallowed. He had completed the fusion of his cultivation techniques and his physical strength. Long Fei calmed his heart, looked at the dragon Salia in his hand that was surrounded by darkness energy, and the image of the ferocious dark dragon god in his mind appeared. His heart trembled. Is that the power of the dark dragon god? Why can I activate him with a drop of my blood essence? That kind of power was unimaginably strong, at least, it was something that Long Fei couldn't wield right now. Moreover, he was sure that the power released by the Dark Dragon God was something even the experts of the War King would be unable to contend against, it was just too powerful. Didn't the ancestor of the Long family kill the Dark Dragon God, then use his blood essence to refine the treasured blade, and at the same time, place the Dark Dragon God's seal inside the blade? He should hate our Long family, why are you helping me? Long Fei had to think about this. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that the Long family was not simple. The more he understood, the more he felt that there was still another layer of mysterious veil that remained on the Long family. The Dark Dragon God could easily suppress the strong warriors at the peak of the War King. How did the ancestors of the Long family kill the Dark Dragon God? Where should he kill? What was hidden? Long Fei had a nagging feeling that something was amiss. It was very possible that it was a secret that had been hidden in the Long family for tens of thousands of years. Huff. It would be great if I could find the dragon domain. That place will definitely be able to solve the mystery in my heart. Long Fei exhaled, looked at the dragon's salyer in his hand, and said faintly, "No matter what, you are still my, Long Fei's, weapon, a supreme divine weapon." The idea withdrew. Long Fei hoisted Xiao Bai onto his shoulder and quickly jumped out. The square was a complete mess. The evil spirits were guarding the exit of the abyss, and when they saw a flash of golden light, their expressions changed. "It's that kid." Then, "Our city lord is dead. The mayor is dead." Those evil spirits all cried out as if they were crying. When Long Fei landed, he shouted with his ice and fire, "Master!" Long Fei leaped into the air and said, "Take care of Xiao Bai," he fainted. At this moment, Xiao Bai's body suddenly shot forward, releasing a loud howl. Who dragged me into the infernal realm? I want to kill him." He suddenly woke up. In that instant, he felt as if he had been dragged into a bottomless abyss. It was extremely uncomfortable, but he had also fainted. Seeing that Long Fei had calmed down, she said, "Master, where is the big skeleton? I'm going to kill him. Damn it, I was scared to death." Long Fei rolled her eyes at him, and said, "I went to see Marx." "Who is Marx? Is it that amazing?" Xiao Bai muttered. Long Fei did not bother about it. Xiao Bai sensed for a bit and said excitedly, "Wow, Master, you broke through again?" "Huh. Yeah, I broke through again." Long Fei's mind tightened as he suddenly thought of a very important question. "I've broken through again. War Master level 8. Killing Oxhead goes up 1 level, killing Horseface goes up 1 level, and then going up 1 level from the City Lord, then I can go up 18 levels in the 18 levels of hell, right? I can't take it anymore, my heart won't be able to take it anymore." The scene was so beautiful that Long Fei didn't even dare to think any further. He checked the system. Killing the city leader was indeed a special reward, which was to reach level 1. Long Fei's heart was thumping hard, like a country bumpkin counting with his fingers. Hell's 18th level, there's still 17 levels, level 1, and I'll be able to level up 17 levels. I'm now at the 8th level of the War Master. Adding the fact that I'm at the 17th level. Long Fei covered his heart. Xiao Bai immediately asked worriedly, "Master, what's wrong?" Long Fei laughed extremely pervertedly, and said, "Nothing much, I'm just a little too excited." He was secretly pleased in his heart. "I'm going to break through the War God realm, I'm going to go fuck myself, I'm going to go to the heavens, ha ha ha." Wait. Long Fei looked at the back of the fire and ice and felt like he was missing something. Where's the Sky Spirit? Chapter 9. Table of Contents, 8_841923567771. The Sky Spirit was gone. The Sky Spirit was gone. When Long Fei said this, Binghua finally noticed it. The god was also shocked and said, "The one that was here just a moment ago suddenly disappeared." Master, Ice and Fire were very anxious. He was blaming himself for not doing well on the things Long Fei had told him. Long Fei slightly said, "It's none of your business. If he wants to leave, no one can stop him." He was very clear on the strength of a heavenly spirit. This guy was an immortal existence in hell. Moreover, Long Fei had a feeling that the reason King Yama was able to obtain it was probably because the heavenly spirit had done it on purpose. He wanted to enter the 18th floor of hell. However, what was he going to do at the 18th level of hell? Long Fei was not clear about this. Devour even more yin energy? Long Fei's brows slightly moved, he did not think too much about it. At this moment, a few evil spirits sneak attacked him, causing Long Fei's gaze to darken. He didn't wait for them to attack, and was immediately blown to death by a huge fireball. Xiao Bai asked, "Master, What do we do with these evil spirits? Long Fei grinned. Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive. Immediately, the three of them descended and started to fight unrestrainedly in the plaza. The scene was a massacre. Long Fei had slaughtered the evil spirits. Boom. Ghost City. Yama King was startled. The entire underworld was trembling. Damn it. He was very clear about everything that had happened in hell. He never thought that not only did he not refine Long Fei, he was even killed by Long Fei. King Yang Luo said with a sinking tone, "It seems that I've underestimated him." Oxhead said respectfully, "My lord, the master of the tongue-drawing city is the weakest of the 18 hells. No matter how capable this kid is, it's impossible for him to break through the 18 hells." Horseface also said, "The next level is Scissor Hell, and the refining power will increase exponentially. A mere war master Reem's cultivation simply won't be able to sustain it for long." The lower one descended to the 18th level of the infernal realm, the more powerful one was. The consumption rate of the true chi was also getting faster and faster. King Yama was very clear about this, but that was not what he was worried about right now. The 18th floor of the infernal realm held extremely vicious people captive. It could be said, within the jurisdiction of the South Horizon region's underworld, the fallen rank experts, the murderous demons, berserkers, and some very special experts were all imprisoned in the 18 hells. If these people could recover their true chi, and their strength could recover, then it would definitely be a calamity for the underworld. If that was the case, cold sweat seeped out of Yama King's forehead. He couldn't afford the consequences. If the underworld went into chaos, he would probably die too. Huff. King Yang Luo let out a long breath and silently said to himself, "We absolutely cannot let this kid leave the 18 levels of hell alive. Absolutely not." The eyes of Yama Minamaya narrowed as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Rumble. 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 The square was in chaos as Long Fei and the other two fought ferociously. The experience points is rising rapidly. However, compared to over 300 million experience slots, these experience points were simply too powerless. But Long Fei did not let go of any of his experience. He wanted the experience points, and even more so the true chi to maintain his consumption. Half a day later, the tongue extraction city had been cleaned up, leaving only the cells on the left and right side of the city. All the prisoners in the prison looked at Long Fei. They were all incomparably excited, and had never. No such person had ever appeared before. Even if he was a war king ranker, he would still kneel like a dog on the 18th floor of the hell. No one could do what Long Fei did. Too arrogant, too handsome, too domineering. "Hero, let us out. Little handsome brother, let me out. I'll do whatever you want to do." A very flirtatious, extremely charming, and with a body so hot that it could explode, she gave Long Fei a flirtatious glance. It was irresistible. Long Fei looked at it and his entire body shivered. "Let us out and we'll follow you. Ha ha ha. Brat, I really like you. You are ruthless and fierce enough. You even managed to pull out your tongue and trample on the city lord's foot. You are too tyrannical." There were no less than 1,000 prisoners on both sides of the street. These people had one thing in common. His cultivation was all at war emperor realm. It was just that they did not have any true chi-s within them and could not use any techniques. Otherwise, this mere prison would not be able to do anything to them. And then again, these people were all devil race people, and each one of them was extremely vicious. If such a group of people were in the same sect, then an existence that could crush any sect in the South Horizon region, any Nantian sect or Heaven sect would be crushed to the ground and turned into a dead dog. This is only the first level of hell. All of them are War Emperor Realm rankers, the lower level must be stronger. Then who is the person imprisoned in the 18th level of hell? Then isn't his cultivation strong enough to explode? Peak of War King? Long Fei became excited, and thought, if I can bring all of these people out, I'll kill them all, then I'll sweep across the entire continent. Suddenly, Yang Huang ancestor's voice faintly sounded, "It's impossible for you to break through these 18 levels of hell on your own. You'll need the help of other forces. These prisoners are the best help. If you want to take them away, I can't guarantee anything. Bringing 10 people is still something I can do, but a Kunlun mirror from your space ring can still do it. Yang Huang ancestor's voice sounded. Long Fei was immediately excited. Really? Don't talk about 10 people. Even if it was a person, Long Fei would smile like a blossoming flower. The first floor was filled with War Emperor cultivators, but wasn't there a War King ranker on the 18th floor? Just take him out. At that time, Long Fei clenched his fists and said excitedly, Hong Tianjun, I shall see just how strong you are. Heh. This was a very powerful force. Long Fei had to make good use of them. And then, Long Fei walked to the front of the prison, looked at the savage faces of the people in the prison, coldly laughed, and said, cheer up to your heart's content, and go crazy as much as you want. As soon as he finished, the dragon Salya slashed out. The saber chi was just right as it directly cut off all the chains on one side of the prison. Clang, clang. The door frame was pushed down, and one by one, War Emperor experts walked out. They did not have tongues, but even though they did not have true chi, their voices could still be heard. They came out of the underworld after a few years, dozens, thousands, or tens of thousands of years of practice. And then, Long Fei changed his direction again and slashed horizontally with his blade. On the other side, the other prisoners had all left their cells. They were all cheering. It was boiling. From the moment they were locked up here, they had never come out. They had never been as free as they were now. They all looked at Long Fei. It was like soldiers waiting for orders. Long Fei grinned as he laughed coldly. He pointed at the entrance to the next level of hell with his dragon Salya and sinisterly said, next level, shears hell. Touch. Overturn the 18th level of hell. Chapter 10. Thank you for supporting us with your powerful firepower. Thank you so much for your support. Table of contents, 8_841923567772. Target, scissor hell. Target, scissor hell. As Long Fei gave the order, all the vicious people stood up and roared, and then let out a burst of ghost-like cries. Awe-inspiring. It was an awe-inspiring scene. This was truly domineering. However, at the entrance to the second floor, a gigantic seal appeared. There was a seal at the entrance, and another one at the exit. This was to prevent any criminals from escaping. Seal. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he muttered to himself, how do I break this? He did not know much about formations, but he knew even less about seal. However, without waiting for him to finish speaking, an extremely vulgar-looking man walked out from the crowd. He grinned and said, let me. Long Fei was slightly taken aback as she looked at him. That wretched man was truly. They did not dare to say anything, and could only be described with 4 words, incomparably ugly. I, Lang Qianli, the flower harvester, greet the young lord. He had also seen Long Fei's strength. It had to be said that Long Fei was very powerful, very powerful. Even though he was a rapist, he had a sincere admiration for him. When he was alive, he had never put anyone in his eyes, let alone admired them. This name. Long Fei exhaled, and asked, what method do you have? Lang Qianli looked at the seal at the entrance, and then muttered, I, Lang Qianli, have seen all sorts of seal, I have even seen the seal on a woman's stomach. This kind of insignificant seal is not difficult for me at all. However, Lang Qianli looked at Long Fei as he scratched his head, young master, I don't have a true chi, so I am unable to use my strength. True chi was a hard injury. Without true chi, they only had a few kilograms of strength. Long Fei nodded. No problem, go ahead. Lang Qianli said, young master, I'm starting. Listen carefully. As his voice fell, Lang Qianli's expression also became solemn. True chi, enter Tai Yin, condense your power at the tip of your finger, and break through Blood River North. Fire. According to Lang Qianli's words, with a twitch of his finger, a surge of power rushed toward the northern end of the seal's entrance. Immediately after, the power of the seal started to pour outwards. F***CK. Long Fei was shocked, and thought, it's really possible, I never thought that there would be such a talent. These vicious and cruel people were not only cruel and merciless, They were also the truly capable people. Next, Long Fei followed Lang Qianli's instructions and opened the seal's door in a few minutes. At this moment, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for obtaining 100 experience points for cultivating unprint technique. True Qi 100 points. The reward is 100 points. Huh! Long Fei was shocked. You learnt the unsealing technique just like that. Although it was not some divine technique, the unsealing art was still a kind of good auxiliary method. Lang Qianli had only said it once before he succeeded in cultivating it. At the same time, Long Fei turned his head to look at the people behind him, and muttered to himself, one person for one special technique, then wouldn't I have to go to heaven? Rub. Isn't it too fierce? It was also at this time that the thick stone door of the seal slowly opened. A strong vortex of wind rose up like a blade. Long Fei took a step forward, waved his arms, and shouted, charge, charge, kill, overturn the 18 levels of hell. Everyone followed Long Fei and rushed into the second level. The 18th level of hell. The second level. Scissor hell. Cut off 10 fingers. The moment he stepped into scissor hell, a wailing, ghost-like voice rang out. Give me back my finger. At the same time, ding. True Qi 1,500 points. Ding. True Qi 1,500 points. S heart tensed up, and thought, it seems like jumping to the bottom will consume even more True Qi S. But it was him. The people behind him had no reaction at all, because their pubes was so dried up, like a desert, without even the slightest bit of True Qi. Without True Qi, there was naturally no need to worry about the True Qi evaporating. Standing at the entrance, Long Fei looked into the distance, at the evil spirits that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Long Fei's heart was moved, seems like they already knew about the destruction of the tongue-drawing hell. King Yama. He immediately thought of King Yang Luo in his heart. Looking at the chaotic sky, he sneered, King Yang Luo, are you very nervous right now? Don't worry, I will make you even more nervous. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, his voice became heavy, and he said, we're blocked, do you have anything to say? Those who are afraid of death can leave. I will not stop them. In any case, this is the only way to break through to the 18th level of hell. It is also the only chance to be free and unable to be a human being. Even as a ghost, one must be free. These people all had hideous looks on their faces. They gnashed their teeth and shouted, do it. Kill. F*CK it. They had waited for 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years. Finally, they had waited for this opportunity. If they didn't go for it once, then what was the point of it? What was the difference between being re-imprisoned in a prison cell and being a dead man? If you're not happy, then do it. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curved up as he smiled, then let's kill, 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 kill. At this moment, a man walked to Long Fei's side and said, the scissors evil ghost has the advantage in terms of location, and furthermore, look at all of them with mounts, hellhounds. If we were to charge like this, we would be instantly smashed to smithereens. Victory rate is 0. When knights swooped down, their strength would increase by more than twofold. In a single charge, most likely all other than Long Fei would be killed, so what else could they do? Long Fei's small-scale tactics were invincible, but in such a big scene, where tens of thousands of soldiers were fighting each other on the battlefield, he had never experienced it before, and he was not his strong point. Long Fei immediately asked, what do you think? The man said, the tactics say that one should first avoid the sharp edge, pierce its vitals, confuse its heart, and cause pain. This way, it can cause great harm. Long Fei stopped very seriously. It was also at this moment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for training tactics. You have gained 100 experience points. True Qi 100 points. The reward is 100 points. I'll go. Long Fei muttered in his heart, they're all geniuses, all of them are geniuses. And then, Long Fei said to the man, from now on, you are my strategist, and everyone will follow your lead. Also, Xiaobai, you come with them. Xiaobai rushed out of the war pet space, nodded and said, "Understood." Long Fei moved, "Ice and fire, let's go." "Understood." Boom. With a leap, Long Fei landed on the back of the Icefire wings that flew out of the war pet space. And then, one man and one dragon soared into the clouds like a fighter jet. The advisor used all his strength and said, "Prepare to charge." Chapter 1. Thank you, Big Yo-Yo, Old Monk Sin, Little Kaiji for your strong firepower support. The sea is extremely grateful. 8_841923567773. Scissor Legion, tens of thousands. Scissor Legion, tens of thousands. As long as Long Fei and the rest dared to rush in, they would definitely die under the mountain. Seeing Long Fei's group of elderly, weak and handicapped, the Scissors commander Wu Xie laughed. "You trash dare to fight against me? You overestimate yourself. Pass down my orders. Kill them all later. Let them know that we, Scissors, hell, are not some random cat or dog that can break into hell. Do you understand?" His voice was deafening. Tens of thousands of evil spirits cried out at the same time. "Commander, why are they so slow?" "Needless to say, I'm definitely afraid. We don't know how to steam true chi in hell. Their pubes are like dead grass, without the slightest bit of true chi. Aren't they afraid of us, a huge army of 10,000? Ha ha ha." Wu Xie laughed complacently. "I've cut them all down today. We've done a great deed for them. That old man should take a step back as well. When I become the city lord, you'll all be rewarded. Long live the Lord." Ha ha ha. Wu Xie was extremely pleased with himself. Holding a pair of scissors on his shoulder, he shouted at Long Fei and the others, "You bunch of useless people, I will give you all a chance to live. Kneel down and be captured, otherwise, I will kill all of you. Hurry up and kneel down before our commander. Are you deaf? You bastards." All the evil spirits around Wu Xie started to clamor. Wu Xie was also proud. He spat on the ground and said disdainfully, "Ha! What Long Fei? What live person are you? In front of me, you are nothing but trash." Not waiting for him to finish, a child said, "Commander, there's a sun in the sky." Wu Xie immediately slapped him. "Are you King retarded? Where did the sun come from?" The little ghost gripped his face and muttered, "There really is a sun." Pa. Another slap came down. Wu Xie was furious as he said, "Are you King looking to die? Do you think I'm as retarded as you?" The kid lowered his head and didn't dare to speak anymore. However, he didn't dare to stand with Wu Xie, because that huge sun really was falling down on Wu Xie's head. Wu Xie tugged at his collar and muttered, "Why is it so hot? The light is much better. Scissor hell is full of dust." He suddenly looked up and his face sank. CKU, why aren't you saying anything even when there's a fireball? At this moment, the people around him all retreated far away. Because they were afraid of being beaten by him, no one dared to say that there was a sun in the sky. Rumble. Rumble. The fireball exploded, and a mushroom cloud soared into the sky. Flames shot out in all directions, directly scattering the evil spirits' formation. At this moment, the advisor stood at the very front and said with some excitement, "Steady, steady. It's not time yet. There's still a little more." In his previous life, he was a strategist. He had read a lot about military law and had studied all sorts of large battle arrays in history. From ordinary human battle arrays to large-scale battle arrays between martial artists, he had studied them all. It was just that it died before he could even use it. This was because he was very special. The slightest carelessness could cause huge wars, and he was a fanatic of war. If he brought along any memories of his reincarnation, it would cause chaos. In his previous life, he couldn't even use all of the tactics in his head, and this time, he was going to use them to the extreme. Steady, steady, just a little bit more. He was grateful to Long Fei in his heart. It was Long Fei who had given him the chance to complete the dream, so he definitely would not let Long Fei die. Rumble. The first huge fireball descended, and the formation that was already in chaos became even more chaotic. Wu Xie crawled out of the fire and shouted loudly, "Kill him! Kill him! Use fire to attack him!" This is too insidious. Just as he put out the flames on his body, another fireball exploded on top of his head. Wu Xie's eyes darkened. Damn. Rumble. His body became natural once more, and the pain caused him to roll around on the ground, completely dispersing the Hellhound Legion and causing them to hide in every direction. Damn it, damn it. Long Fei, I want to kill. He did not finish his sentence. Long Fei moved his hand and connected to the ice and fire 9 heavens, fire and ice ardent. Boom. The first layer of the 9-story heaven's beam of light descended down and directly exploded above Wu Xie's head. Boom. And then, a pair of scissors flew out with a clang. Wu Xie was nowhere to be seen. He had been killed in an instant. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 slaying evil spirit commander Wu Xie 4 obtaining 450 true chi and 1 energy values. When a commander was killed, the morale of the troops fell. At this moment, the military advisor bellowed, "Now is the time, kill." The villains who had been waiting for a long time rushed forward like madmen. "I haven't tasted killing in a long time, brothers. As long as I swallow the blood of these evil spirits, I can absorb their true chi. If I want to live, if I want to follow young master out of hell, then I don't need to be afraid. I need to crazily absorb it." A demon elder crazily said. This was a secret technique that he had been researching for many years. Why didn't the evil spirits dry up their true chi? Because the blood veiness in their bodies, as long as they fused with their own blood veiness, could definitely restore the true chi. The crowd of villains heard this. They all became even more frenzied, as though they had been injected with chicken blood. True chi. What a thing to desire. From the moment they were imprisoned here, the true chi had been cut off from them, and no matter how hard they tried, they could not sense the existence of any heaven and earth aura. With the true chi, they would be even more unscrupulous. Long Fei killed Wu Xie and also jumped down into the air, dragging the dragon Salia behind him. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep continued to emit explosive sounds. This is the rhythm. Long Fei was excited. The more he killed, the more excited he got. At this time, Xiao Bai led the villains and rushed up the hill, where a crazy massacre began. Moreover, what Long Fei did not expect was, he actually had the experience of killing these evil spirits, but it was a little less than what he had killed himself. From the moment Long Fei obtained the first point in their experience, the system sounded out. Ding. Strongest upgrade system. Congratulations to player Long Fei for forming a party. You have obtained 100 experience points, 100 true chi, and a special 100 points reward. These villains were all his teammates. Ha ha ha. That would be even better. If we can bring all of them out with us. Long Fei was moved and asked again, does Ancestor really have no solution? Chapter 28_841923567774. Chapter 428 Boss. Chapter 428 Boss. Let's not talk about the battle capabilities of these people. Long Fei did not want to lose just these special talents. The printer, tactician, fighter. They were all a variety of strong geniuses. With this group of people, they could raise the power of the Long family to its peak. Steamroll Heaven Sect was only a matter of a few words. Long Fei really wanted to bring her out. Yang Huang Ancestor became silent. What Long Fei wanted to do was what she wanted to do. The stronger Long Fei was, the more holy artifact he would be devoured. However, if you want to take out all the vicious and evil people at once. Yang Huang Ancestor was silent for a moment, then replied, Kid, give me some time. I want to modify something, but are you sure you want to take these people out? Even if I have to waste 1 or 2 holy artifacts? Long Fei replied without thinking, I'm sure, even if I waste 1 or 2 holy artifacts to take these people out, it would be worth it. Indeed. These people's fighting strength was too strong. If they could bring them out, it would not be a problem even if there were 10 of them. Yang Huang Ancestor slightly said, All right, since you insist on this, I will think of a way. I will definitely give you an answer before you break through the 18th layer. Long Fei nodded her head, Ancestor, I will be counting on you. His idea landed on the Kunlun mirror and revealed an excited smile. I always thought of myself as the craziest person in the Chaos realm. But, compared to this kid, my craziness is just like a fart. Brat, crazy enough. I like it. Yang Huang Ancestor became excited. I will definitely help you with this matter. Ha ha ha. The old demon was right. My true chi has truly recovered some. It is indeed useful. My true chi, I feel it again. Too awesome, ha ha ha. After consuming the evil spirit's blood, their exhausted pubes seemed like they had just been fed a sweet dew as it regained its vitality. It was truly great to feel the existence of the true chi again. Ha ha ha. Who should we be afraid of now? We are invincible. Everyone was laughing maniacally. Long Fei also laughed. However, the murky sky suddenly dropped and a shrill and furious voice rang. Invincible? You dare call yourselves invincible with trash like you? As soon as he finished, the sky seemed to have been cut down by a pair of large scissors. With a Kailar sound, the pressure of the sky was immediately followed by a thunderous roar. Boom! On the hillside, those villains were squashed to the ground. Many of them were squashed to the point of spitting blood as they died. Ding! You have fewer teammates. Ding! Reduce the number of members you have. The system beeped crazily. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. She did not care about the people who died, because war would kill people, and he did not have time to pity the people who died. He had to do his best to protect those who were still alive. Long Fei moved, stood on the back of the ice and fire, flew into the air, and then leaped once again. Moonlit step. Shua. With a dash, he arrived above the clouds. His eyes widened as he grinned. Boss, I knew it was a boss. The Lord of Scissors of Hell with her scissors in the cloud. It was a boss that was stronger than the Tongue Lord. Long Fei looked at him, her eyes emitting a golden light. No matter what the boss dropped, to him, it was just a upgrade. The Lord of Scissors sneered coldly and said, Brat, this is the underworld, this is the 18th floor of hell, do you want to overturn the heavens? Humph. You overestimate yourself. The pressure of Mi Tian rushed towards Long Fei's body slightly trembled. He laughed sinisterly, and said, Are you the sky? He was putting himself in front of the heavens. Don't you think it's funny? Not to mention you are not heaven, even if you are, I will still overturn you. 3-rate peerless technique. Explode. After exploding out with 8 times his usual attribute, the pressure on his mind was slightly suppressed. Long Fei shouted again, Heart Sutra. In that instant, Long Fei took a step forward, and the dragon blade chopped down with its black blade chi. Boom! The shadow of the dark dragon god roared and rushed forward. Long Fei followed closely behind. Lord of Scissors revealed a scornful cold smile, and said, You want to overturn the heavens with this kind of power? He 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 he. You are too arrogant. Suddenly, the giant scissors in Lord of Scissors' hands dropped, and instantly blocked Long Fei's attack. The huge scissor suddenly exploded with a backlash. Bam! Long Fei was sent flying, the blood chi beneath her chest roiled, unable to withstand the recoil, she immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. So powerful. The rebound was much stronger than the Tongue Lord alone. Kid. Come again, isn't it about to overturn the heavens? I think you're just doing a somersault. I had thought that you were very strong, but now it seems that Tongue Lord was truly a trash, someone who couldn't even deal with trash like you. Long Fei's mind started to spin frantically. At the same time, his idea was connected to the dark dragon god inside the dragon blade, but the dark dragon god ignored him. At this moment, Xiao Bai's voice sounded out, Boss, I'll stab him to death. The sky shook. The clouds churned as a spear of the wolf god stabbed down. When it was still half a meter away from the Lord of Scissors' head, the scissors moved and directly cut apart the spear of the wolf god. Lord of Scissors sneered, I am not trash like you, Tongue Lord. I would let a little mottled dog like you hurt me. Xiao Bai was immediately enraged, and asked, Who are you calling a mottled dog? I think you're just an old fart. Lord of Scissors' eyes turned sinister as she said, I think you're courting death. Move. With lightning speed, he madly rushed towards Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai was not an easy opponent. Even when facing such a strong boss like Lord of Scissors, he was not afraid. Rumble. The instant of contact. Xiao Bai was immediately flung out, spitting out blood. Without waiting for Xiao Bai to fall, Lord of Scissors' body blurred as she put away the scissors and the hammer. Boom. Xiao Bai, who was still in mid-air, was smashed to the ground. A deep crater was formed by the explosion. Once the Lord of Scissors landed, she stepped on Xiao Bai's head. She looked at Long Fei with scorn, and laughed coldly. "Kid, are you feeling so good after getting beaten up like this?" "Ah, ha, ha." Xiao Bai was beaten up to the point where she had no way to retaliate. Long Fei's anger churned as she flew down from the sky. Looking at Lord of Scissors, her face turned sinister. "You think I have no way to deal with you?" Lord of Scissors' face was full of pride. "Deal with me? You don't even have the qualifications. Is that so?" Long Fei's gaze tightened. Ghost step. Moonlit step. Two different speeds superimposed on each other as they dashed out. It was as fast as lightning. It was as fast as lightning. Lord of Scissors' face was full of scorn as he said in disdain, "I'll see what you can do to me." In his eyes, Long Fei was too weak to withstand a single blow. Not a threat to him. Therefore, he placed Long Fei in his eyes. Secret skill. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he raised his fist. Ding. Spell distance reached. As the sound of the voice faded, Long Fei's fist opened wide and suddenly scattered out. Poison technique. Swish. The yin snake poison was unleashed. The poison turned into a dark green poisonous mist that covered Lord of Scissors' entire body. He did not move his body, but sneered, "What the hell is this?" The poisonous fog covered his entire body, causing him to feel a series of pain from ants biting at his body. The pain was negligible to him. However, but for Long Fei, it was no ordinary matter. Killing a boss was different from others. He only needed to drain the boss HP and Lord of Scissors' HP would also be 50 million. As he released the skill, bright red numbers continuously floated up above his head. A string of damage words floated up from the top of his head. This was the skill, Poison. It allowed you to continuously reduce your HP. In the game, this skill was basically equivalent to the 1000 gold oil skill. Can't kill you. Not your opponent. It doesn't matter. I'll poison you to death and exhaust you to death. One skill lasted about 8 minutes and dealt around 1000 damage per second, with 4 million damage per hour. Could poison Lord of Scissors to death in more than 10 hours. However, as the Lord of Scissors' were being exhausted, Long Fei was also being exhausted. His true chi might not even last that long. The consumption alone was not enough. He had to think of another way to deal with him. The Lord of Scissors sneered, and said, "Brat, is this how you handle me? Ha ha ha. Too weak. Now. It's my turn to make a move." Lord of Scissors coldly snorted. His body moved, and a giant pair of scissors fell from the sky. Boom. It directly stuck behind Long Fei. Lord of Scissors muttered an incantation, as if he was chanting an incantation. Suddenly, one of the villains shouted, "Young chieftain, quickly dodge it." "Huh!" Long Fei did not hesitate, his body moved, and wanted to rush out. Unexpectedly, Lord of Scissors' gigantic body directly blocked in front of Long Fei, and laughed, "Want to escape?" Too late. The power of countless runes appeared on the scissors. Power of punishment. A broken finger. Lord of Scissors lowered the center of his brows and roared, "Leave your finger behind for me." His strength moved and immediately bound Long Fei, controlling both of his hands. He extended them out, and the pair of scissors made 2 catcher sounds as it came over. "Kid, I'll let you try the taste of your fingers being cut off. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha." Lord of Scissors laughed out wildly. Long Fei's eyes moved, he roared in his heart, "Demon Snake's eye, open." Buzz. His eyes were covered with a layer of white light, and a petrified light burst out from his eyes. "Ah!" The demonic snake girl roared loudly, the scissors were swiftly petrified, Lord of Scissors' eyes revealed a look of fear, at the same time, his body was petrified. Soul evil fire, burn. Boom. A dark green soul evil fire fused with the dark arrogance on top of the dragon Salia, and Long Fei stepped on it, black dragon angry slash. A single slash. Rumble. The petrified Lord of Scissors had half of his defense and none of his attacks. Crack. The saber slashed down. A critical hit with over 1,000,000 damage. At the same time, the petrification also ended in an instant. Lord of Scissors was extremely angry. Bastard, you. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei's idea sank, multiple shadows. Eighth body. Boom, boom, boom. As the 8 figures landed, they shouted in unison, demonic splitting pulse technique. Shua. 8 clones were released at the same time, heavily smashing onto the ground, and also blasted Lord of Scissors, who had just received 1,000,000 damage, into the air. Fiend God. Dragon Chop. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. The 8 of them moved in unison. The soul evil fire S on the dragon Salia and the dark blade energy interweaved crazily. Each of the 8 avatars contained 480 slashes. 3,840 slashes. The illusory image of the dark dragon god completely enveloped the Lord of Scissors, meaning that the dragon god was dancing wildly. He slaughtered wildly. The damage continued to float. I'll take your life while you're sick. Lord of Scissors is arrogant. I want to see how arrogant you are. Long Fei let out a furious roar, and seized this chance. The power in his fists surged. Anger flared between his eyebrows. Fiend God. Mountain hit Fizz. 8th level, Mount Tai, boom, boom. Crack. The 8 of them moved at the same time. As they flew into the air, the large power King Kong ape on their bodies transformed into a gigantic Mount Tai, bombarding down from above. Boom, boom, boom. 8 Mount Tai slammed into Lord of Scissors' abdomen, blasting him onto the ground and creating a huge pit. Lord of Scissors spat out a large mouthful of blood. You, brat, you, I. He didn't even have time to finish. Long Fei moved again, moonlit step. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Toading skill. 4th realm. Whoosh. Long Fei took the lead and struck downwards at a vertical angle, like a cannonball. Like a bolt of lightning, he struck Lord of Scissors' stomach, and in that instant, the true chi was released, and directly drilled into his body. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk the other 7 figures landed. Kill them all. Idea moved slightly, activating the strangling power. The inside of Lord of Scissors' body sounded like the sound of a meat grinder. Ah! Ah! The Lord of Scissors screamed in pain. Consecutive critical strikes. He was already crippled, and with the soul evil fire's injuries, the yin snake's poison on his body burned crazily, and the amount of blood on his head was also crazily decreasing. Pain. Incomparable pain. Just for a moment. With just that little bit of chance, Long Fei had grabbed onto that little bit of opportunity, and he was like a violent punch. He would definitely not give you any chance to retaliate. Looking at the amount of blood on top of Lord of Scissors' head, Long Fei descended from the sky, stepped on Lord of Scissors' face, and shouted sinisterly, "Isn't this great?" Ah! He was utterly enraged. The war pet that oppressed him? It even had an expression of contempt, which really annoyed Long Fei. Blood spurted out of Lord of Scissors' mouth as he panted heavily and said, "You dog, you think you can kill me? You think?" He still had an arrogant and domineering expression on his face. However, in that instant, his heart turned cold, seeing Long Fei suddenly take a step back. Holding the dragon Salia with both hands, he slashed down. "No, no, don't." Long Fei laughed sinisterly. "If I can't kill you, who will? Then open your dog eyes and see. The wrath of the dragon god. Kill." Chapter 4. After staying up all night, his eyes could no longer make out the words on the computer. It was not because he had forgotten the chapter names, but because he had written the wrong numbers and the wrong words. Hai Yang was sorry. His eyes were going to go blind. Table of contents, 8_841923567776. Raw. Roar. A dragon's roar rang out. All of Long Fei's strength was poured into it, all of the power in his arms were trembling, linked to the dragon Salia. The idea moved, Dark Dragon God, release your power. A blade slashed down on Lord of Scissors' neck. It was also at this time. The dark dragon blade on the dragon Salia swallowed it. Rumble. A loud sound echoed out in the sky as the saber descended. Crack. Lord of Scissors' body split into two, his head rolling down to Long Fei's feet. Long Fei stepped on it, and bellowed, "Can I kill you or not? Will we be able to kill him?" F***CK. The anger in his heart made Long Fei unable to resist swearing. His right foot suddenly exerted force, and with a kick, he broke Lord of Scissors' head. Is this great? Awesome. Long Fei laughed sinisterly, then lightly tilted his head upwards and closed his eyes slightly. His lips curled into a smile, and he said quietly, "Come. Explode for me. Release the striking energy value." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lord of Scissors for obtaining 1 experience, 1 spiritual force, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Scissor King Bloodvein. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the power of Lifesteal. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Heaven's End Scissor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hell's Armor. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for defeating Lord of Scissors. Reward, level +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Master level, 9. The prompt ended. Long Fei laughed wildly in excitement. War Master level 9, War Master level 9, it's really level 1, ha ha ha. If I pass the 18th level of Hell, I will soon become a War God's peak realm. Ha ha ha. Hong Tianjun, if you are faster, then I am faster. Just you wait. These 2 years, the words Hong Tianjun pressed down on his heart like 100,000 mountains. It was extremely uncomfortable. The #1 genius of the South Horizon region must have trained very quickly. With the support of all the cultivation resources of the Heaven Sect, Hong Tianjun was definitely going to break through soon. But, no matter how fast you are, how can you be faster than me? Level 1. Wait until this daddy breaks out of hell, then I won't have to wait for 3 years. I'll kill you when I get out. Long Fei's face was filled with excitement. Killing the City Lord would give him a special reward, killing the Lord of Scissors would increase another level, then without question, there would still be 16 levels left, and he would be able to level up to level 16. That is not the most important thing. The most important thing was breaking through the 18th level of Hell. It would be the King of Hell's turn next. What level's the reward for killing him? Long Fei was filled with incomparable anticipation. If it was the War King, that would be fun. Long Fei moved her body and said, "Ancestor, you can eat any holy artifact you want. You can eat whatever I drop. I don't want anything. But there is one thing you must do. I want all the prisoners in the 18th floor of Hell to be taken out. I want the Long family's banner to fly to every corner of the South Horizon region." Yang Huang Ancestor was also extremely excited, and said, "Brat, just you wait and see." He had the Heaven's End Scissor and the Hell Armor in his mouth, and he had absorbed the holy artifact power, causing his power to increase by another level. At this moment, his strength had truly activated the Kunlun Mirror and the Yellow Springs Summoning Seal. The young lord is powerful. The young lord is domineering. He's too damn handsome. How can he be this handsome alone? Young master, I want to give you a child. That extremely charming woman spoke in a charming and seductive voice, causing the surrounding villains to feel goosebumps all over their bodies. That sound was simply too life-threatening. However, another woman said, "You're already a few hundred years old. Are you even worthy of him? I've only been dead for 80 years. I'm young, so I can give birth to a child for you, young master." Humph. You 2 women sure have the ability to compete with me. A man who looked like a demon walked out. "Young master, my chrysanthemum." Without waiting for him to finish, he flew back with a slap from Long Fei. "I'm not gay, I hate transvestites." The celebrity laid on the floor with a face full of enjoyment. Young master, please hit me again. You will ravage me, you will ravage me. Long Fei felt a wave of cold fear as he ran far away. Scissor City. It was the same as the Bite of China. There was a canyon that led to the third level, while the other two sides were filled with imprisoned felons. There weren't as many people as on the first floor. Their strengths were all War Emperor realm-esque, but they were even more insane. Long Fei's gaze swept across them as he directly asked, "Are you willing to follow me in overturning the 18th level of hell?" Just one sentence. Are you willing or not? Long Fei stood on his left and right, ice and fire, while hundreds of villains stood behind them, their faces filled with excitement. Seeing that Long Fei had all knelt down on one knee, those felons said in unison, "Greetings, young master. Greetings, young lord." The two voices sounded at the same time, echoing in Scissor City. With a move of the dragon Salya in Long Fei's hands, he severed the prison chains on both sides and said excitedly, "From now on, you are free." One by one, they walked out of the prison cell. All of them were incomparably excited. They had witnessed Long Fei's strength just now, and even the Lord of Scissors was being trampled on. His cultivation was not high, but to be able to do such a thing, they could not help but admire him. Ding. Increase in the number of members of the team. Increase in the number of members of the team. Long Fei laughed and said, "Objective, third floor. Come out." Just as Long Fei and the others were walking towards the entrance to the third floor, the sky spirit descended from the sky, closing its eyes and chanting. The runes on its body began to glow purplish black. Suddenly, the forehead of the sky spirit shook, absorb. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The evil spirit's evil chi and baleful yin force were all absorbed by his body. The seal he had obtained from the Yang Huang ancestor also began to tremble. With an icy smile, the man said, "Hell's 18th level, my heaven. Ha ha ha. King Yama's estate. Damn it." He had already informed the Lord of Scissors to not be careless, and to kill Long Fei no matter what. But the power that Long Fei had displayed was yet again shocking to him. Moreover, Long Fei's cultivation had continuously made breakthroughs. From the very beginning, he was only at the 5th level of War Master to the current 9th. Long Fei was second. The thing that worried Yama King the most was the Sky Spirit. He was extremely careful, but he had still calculated incorrectly. Sister-in-law, 1-/+ health strongest upgrade system. The 18th floor of Hell was a place with the densest and most evil energy in the underworld. If his body of evil grew up again, the consequences would be too scary. King Yama narrowed his eyes and muttered, "I want to enter the 18th level of Hell." The King of Hell could no longer hold himself back. The 5th chapter was sent over. Thank you for your support, thank you. 8_841923567777. Iron Tree City Lord, give me your chrysanthemum. Iron Tree City Lord, give me your chrysanthemum. No, give up your life. Long Fei was drenched in blood, his face twisted as he slashed the dragon Salya in his hand. The wrath of the dragon god. Kill. Boom. The dragon Salya was enraged and the power of the dark dragon god erupted as it beheaded the city lord of Iron Tree City with one slash. No. The city lord of Iron Tree City let out a mournful scream. Next, the head rolled to Long Fei's feet, and Long Fei stomped on it until it exploded. Release your striking attribute. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing City Lord of Iron Tree City for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Iron Tree King Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Iron Tree King's power. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Steel God Hammer. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing City Lord of Iron Tree for obtaining a special reward, level +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Emperor level 1. Huff. The aura emitted from Long Fei's body suddenly changed, and became especially intense. The power of the War Emperor realm crazily surged into his body, into his limbs, meridians, acupuncture points, and his internal organs. The defense of his physical body was also transforming crazily. The change in his body made Long Fei feel incomparable pleasure. He closed his eyes slightly, and let out an excited roar in his heart. This is the War Emperor realm, ha ha ha. Awesome. So cool. The power of the War Emperor realm was completely different from the War Master realm. It was as though a small stream had suddenly converged into a river, and that kind of shocking feeling made Long Fei extremely excited. The young lord has broken through. Breaking through to the young lord in the infernal realm can be considered to be the best in all of history. The young lord is powerful and domineering. Ha ha ha. It's getting more and more fun. Long Fei was also very excited when he broke through to the prisoner level. The total number of prisoners in the third level of hell had already reached 1,500. The lowest cultivation level was War Emperor level 1. The highest cultivation level possible had reached War Emperor level 6. Moreover, this was only the first 3 levels. If this continued, his team would become crazily strong. Long Fei's gaze moved slightly as he shouted, "Target, 4th level, come out." A large group of people followed Long Fei and entered the 4th level. In another place, the 10th level of the infernal realm, the Pit of Ox. There was only one prison, and it held the prisoner. In the true sense, it was extremely fierce and cruel. The prisoner was surrounded by a demonic aura and his body was exuding a strong killing intent. Even with his eyes closed, his killing intent was dense, and even evil spirits did not dare to approach him. Because of fear, the aura of the Yama King condensed into a shadow and landed beside that person. He coldly said, "As long as you help me kill him, I will give you what you want." That person did not open his eyes as the corner of his mouth curled up. He revealed a sneer and said, "Why should I believe you? Is there anyone more sinister than you in the underworld?" A strand of aura entered his body and said, "It's just the power of the true chi. Your true chi will quickly recover. In that case, you should trust me." A strand of chi entered his body. That person's eyes suddenly opened wide and the entire prison began to shake. A burst of strange laughter came from his throat. "Ha ha ha." King Yang Luo slightly said, "I can let you live, but I can also let you die. Your fate is in my hands, obediently listen to me, you can obtain everything you want." Not waiting for King Yama to finish, that person suddenly stood up, his eyes were filled with anger, and 3 black flames burst out from his body and rushed out, scram, boom. The shadow of the Yama King was immediately extinguished by his flames. King Yang Luo did not appear again, nor did he recall the true chi from within his body. In King Yama's mansion, Oxhead asked cautiously, "Sir, can he really help us?" King Yang Luo smiled and said, "Don't worry, he will definitely help us." Horseface also said, "This demon dweller is extremely powerful. If he doesn't kill Long Fei and instead goes with him, then the 18th floor of hell." King Yama's eyes narrowed slightly and he sneered, "I can let him live, and I can also let him die. He knows very well that I am heaven and earth in this ghost city of the underworld, and I am the ruler. There is no benefit in offending me." If Long Fei was a ghost, if the sky spirit was also a ghost, Yama Minamaya would have been able to suppress the two of them with a lot of effort. Humans had an inexhaustible lifespan, so he didn't care. Living people had their own laws of living people, and this kind of power was something that a mere ghost guard like him could not hope to match. Not human, not ghost, even more so. "Long Fei, let's see if you can reach the 10th floor." King Yama smiled. After the 10th floor, the Yama King was slightly worried. The experts after the 10th level were all extremely terrifying existences, and he had no way of controlling them. Moreover, there were people from the Long family on the 10th floor and below. The abnormal old monsters from the Long family were among them. Once Long Fei gathered with him, the result would be. King Yenluo's heart tightened, and he thought to himself, "You dark demon, don't let me down. Die. Rumble." The evil Mirror City Lord had been killed. Long Fei leveled up again. War Emperor level 2. Another burst of blood vein and power, and it was another holy artifact. He had used his striking attribute too often, so he couldn't drop many good stuff, but Long Fei wasn't greedy either, he would use his striking attribute whenever it was a boss. He knew that the Yang Huang ancestor needed a lot of energy from the holy artifact. He was still hoping for Qin Wentian to bring these vicious people out and trample the entire celestial sect of wonders without a care in the world. The 5th floor. Boom. All the way through, all the way until he went berserk. 6th level. War Emperor level 4. The 7th level. Level 5. The 8th floor. Looking at the boss of the 9th floor, the city lord, Long Fei waved his hands. The madmen behind him all rushed forward like madmen. Oilpot City Lord, attribute is fire. Water-style attacks can deal multiple times the damage. Young Master, use water to attack. Young Master, there's no need to worry. First, I'll refine a formation, the 10,000 water array. Let him enjoy himself inside, ha ha ha. With so many talents, there were all kinds of occupations. A few hours later, faintly smiled, and said, the more people there are, the stronger he will be. What he has said is not false at all. It's my turn. Boom. Level 7 War Emperor, open. 36O search. Half-floating / / equals 3-rate peerless technique, open. Heart Sutra, open. Long Fei activated all his strength and dragged his dragon Salia as he rushed forward. You're the owner of Oil Cauldron City, right? Kneel down obediently and sing conquest. 1, 8_84 19 23 56 778. The current Long Fei was completely different from the one on the first floor. The current Long Fei was completely different from the one on the first floor. The beginning was only War Master level 7. Now, he was already a level 7 War Emperor, and his strength was already far, far greater than before. Furthermore, the cultivation levels of these underworld city masters were also War Emperor Realm S. Although he was strong, Long Fei was even more arrogant and tyrannical. I won't give you a chance to turn the situation around. Explode for me. Boom. 10 minutes later, the Oilpot City Master was swaying, his huge body had finally collapsed. As usual, Long Fei beheaded him with one slash. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Oilpot City Master for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Oilpot King Bloodvein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Oilpan King's Mystic Might. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Fire Shield. Congratulations, player. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Oilpot City Lord for obtaining a special reward, level +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Emperor level 8. I leveled up again. Ha ha ha. Long Fei could not hold back his excitement. War Emperor level 8, it's really level 1. Since there's still level 9, that means I can still level up to level 9, and the King of Hell. Ha ha ha. Maybe I can step into the War King realm, ha ha ha. War King. Hong Tianjun, when the time comes, do you have the qualifications to compete with me? Long Fei did not believe it. If Hong Tianjun was able to break through into the War King, then he would really be hanging by a thread. Young Master, the prisoners on this floor have been released. There are only 5 of them, all of them are level 8 War Emperor experts. Lang Qianli walked to Long Fei's side and said respectfully. Long Fei looked at the 5 of them and asked, are you willing to go with me? The 5 of them did not answer immediately. One of them asked, why would I be with you? Long Fei said, overturn the 18 levels of hell. That person continued to ask, you want to enter the 10th level? Long Fei replied, yes, to overturn the 18 levels of hell, I naturally have to continue. That person looked at Long Fei seriously for half a minute. Then, he turned around and returned to his cell, saying, thank you for your good intentions. Although I am a ghost, at least I am still a ghost. The other 4 went back to the prison. One of them said to the person beside Long Fei, from the 10th floor onwards, the people being held are different. The strength of the city lord is also different. Overturn the 18th level of hell? Ha ha. He really thinks of himself as a savior. Do you think you're invincible just because you killed a few city lords? Brat, you're still too young. Look back, those city lords you killed have been resurrected. No one can escape from the 18 levels of hell, even if it's Long Quangtian. He can only obediently stay here. You! It's just a joke. That person walked back to the prison with a look of contempt. In his opinion, Long Fei and the others were just going to die. Lang Qianli was instantly displeased, and said, "You don't have any seed in you, you deserve to be stuck in a wok of oil for your entire life." Exactly. They probably felt great in the frying pan, as the frying pan blew up their list. From the first level onwards, who can kill our young chieftain? The strength of the underworld city lord is different. As long as the people we, the young master, kill, none of them are still alive. The crowd of villains clamored. It was because he was displeased with what he had said just now. One of them said, "Young chieftain, these people do not know how to appreciate favors. How dare they speak to you in such a manner and kill him?" Long Fei smiled as he looked at the 5 of them. Tell the truth. Long Fei really didn't think that there would be someone who wasn't willing to be with him, that would suffer in hell for 100 years, or even 1,000 years, who wouldn't want to be free. But they didn't. It wasn't that they didn't want to. Rather, they were well aware that the danger of the 10th floor was something they couldn't handle. Going down there would only result in their death. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "How terrifying is the 10th floor exactly? I don't care how terrifying it is. There is no way out now that we have reached this point. No matter how terrifying it is, I will still take care of him." Huff. Long Fei looked at the 5 and gave a cold laugh. Why kill the 5 pitiful bugs? They do not have any dreams as human beings, and it's the same as being a ghost. If they like to suffer in hell, then let them be. We. To the 10th floor. Long Fei's dragon Salia shook and said, "Out." There was no retreat. Half of them were already gone, and the remaining half had to be endured even if Long Fei had to grit his teeth. He had to endure it. He still had unfinished business in the underworld. Not long after Long Fei left, the celestial spirit was floating in the air. Power of the dosed. Inhale. The sky spirit's gaze darkened as it sucked in all of the dead spirits and baleful yin force in its body. Finally, it landed in front of the 5 prisoners. Those 5 people were extremely scared. They immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed as they pleaded for mercy. The sky spirit let out a sinister smile. With a flick of his fingers, a wave of energy lifted the 5 of them into the air. He said sinisterly, "Are you even worthy of being ghosts?" Crack, crack. With his head severed, he was instantly killed. The sky spirit inhaled abruptly, absorbing all the yin qi contained in their bodies, and said scornfully, "You don't even have the right to be ghosts." And then, the sky spirit turned into a cloud of purple-black qi and charged into the 10th floor. The 10th floor, Oxpit Hell. It was as literally explained. Huge craters were everywhere, and the craters were like the footprints of a cow. From the moment Long Fei entered the 10th floor, he felt that something was wrong with his anger. "Young chieftain, there are defenses in front of us in the infernal realm, but there's no one here. Not only that, have you guys noticed the strong smell of blood? What's the situation? Didn't you say that the 10th floor is even more dangerous? This is called danger." Confusion. However, Long Fei had a bad feeling about this. Suddenly, a person who had cultivated in the listening skill suddenly said, "Young lord, there's a fight in front." Long Fei moved, immediately sitting on the back of the ice and fire, and instantly dived out. "I've said it before, once I recover my true qi, you will be dead." The dark demon's voice was low, and his expression was extremely fierce. The dark demon flames surrounding these 3 skulls were much more intense than at the beginning. The city lord's gaze tightened as his body swayed. "Demon of the dark world, aren't you afraid that King Yama will squash you to death? Ha ha ha. Kneel me to death." The dark demon laughed wildly and said, "Before you pinch me to death, I will pinch you to death as well." 2-8_84-19-23567779. Boom. Boom. The dark arrogance on his body moved, and a monstrous dark energy came crushing down from the sky. The three energies directly charged into the body of the City Lord. Boom! Boom! The City Lord of Ox's body exploded. In that moment, Long Fei arrived. Seeing that the City Lord of Neo Pit had fallen, he shouted, "Don't! Experience! Level, my experience, my level!" Long Fei went completely crazy. To him, the City Lord of Neo Pit was just a level 1 EXP. Right now, he needed 500 million EXP to level up, so where could he go to obtain that 500 million EXP? It was impossible. Seeing that the City Master of Cow City had been killed, Long Fei had the urge to die. He used all his strength to rush into the deep pit and threw a few punches at the City Lord, but it was useless. The City Lord of Bull's Pit was already dead. Dark Demon coldly looked at Long Fei, and said coldly, "Who are you?" Long Fei was incomparably furious as he turned around and cursed, "Who the fuck are you again? You're courting death." The Dark Devil was infuriated and the Darkness Devil aura around his body rushed towards Xiong Long Fei. His eyes flashed with killing intent. Long Fei was not an easy target. The Dragon Salya grabbed and slashed down. The dense chi on the Dragon Salya surged, as it swallowed the blood vein of the Hell's City Lord, causing the Dragon Salya's profound spirit chi to increase by a lot. With the slash of the blade, the Dark Dragon God roared. Roar! The sword chi wreaked havoc, directly splitting the Dark Arrogance in half. They were completely shocked. The Dark Demon's expression turned into one of shock, the supreme artifact of the South Horizon region, dragon, slaying, and saber. Her voice paused for a moment, and her gaze became especially gloomy, staring at Long Fei with an incomparably dense killing intent. "People from the Long family. I didn't expect to meet someone from the Long family again. Last time." Thinking about the last time, which was tens of thousands of years ago, his body trembled. Looking at Long Fei, and then looking at that Dragon Salya, he suddenly started to laugh wildly. "Now I know." After laughing like crazy, the killing intent in his body completely disappeared, and the dark demonic energy surrounding him also slowly calmed down. The Dark Demon laughed in his heart, and said in his heart, "King of Hell, now I know why you want me to kill him. Are you also afraid of the people from Long family? You're scared too. Long Quangtian. Ha ha ha. Interesting, interesting, extremely interesting. Ha ha ha." He was laughing inside. Long Fei looked at the Dark Demon, and asked, "What are you laughing at?" Dark Demon looked at Long Fei and asked, "Did you charge into hell to save your Long family's ancestors?" Huh? Long Fei was startled. Dark Demon looked at Long Fei's shocked expression and said, "Could it be that it's not?" He did not know that Long Fei had been sent flying into hell by the King of Hell, who wanted to use the devouring power of the 18th level of hell to refine both Long Fei and the heavenly spirit. Once their true chi was refined, they would be nothing but trash. However, how could King Yama think of a system in Long Fei's body? As long as he was killed by the monsters, his true chi would never run dry. As for his sky spirit, that was an even more abnormal existence. King Yama was wrong. Long Fei said, "So what? So what if it isn't?" The Dark Demon laughed, "If so, I can give you a hand. If that's not the case." The Dark Demon's smile turned cold and hideous. He said coldly, "Then I will take your life." The Dark Dwellers wanted to kill him. From the very beginning, Long Fei had already sensed it. Moreover, he was very strong, enough to easily kill the City Lord of Neopai City was enough to prove that he was very strong, but why didn't he kill himself after he saved Long Quangtian? Long Fei asked, "Why?" The Dark Demon laughed and said, "Because if I want to leave, I'm afraid only Long Quangtian can accomplish that in the entire infernal realm." That's not right. Previously, Long Quangtian couldn't do it, but the Dark Demon stared at the Dragon Salya in Long Fei's hands and said excitedly, "With the Dragon Salya, he can do it." Huh? Long Fei was secretly shocked. Long Quangtian, is he the ancestor of the Long family? Which generation's patriarch is he? Long Fei flipped through the Long family's family tree. However, he only knew the first-generation patriarch of Long family tens of thousands of years ago. As for the names of the hundreds of generations of patriarchs that came later, they were not recorded in the genealogy book. The clan tree preserved by the Long family had been recorded from 500 generations ago. As for what happened to the Long family that lasted for 510,000 years, no record. When he was flipping through the family tree, he was puzzled. He thought he had lost it, but only after asking his grandfather did he find out that the genealogy was recorded from the 50th generation, and none of the previous ones were recorded. As for the reason, he wasn't sure either. No one in the Long family knew. Long Quangtian. This name sounds a little familiar. Long Fei muttered in his heart, looked at the demons and asked, "Which floor is my ancestor at?" Dark Demon laughed, "The 18th floor. People like him are naturally locked up on the 18th floor. Otherwise, do you think there's any place you can hold him?" The Dark Demon was crazy. Even Yama Minamaya didn't pay attention to him, but when it came to Long Quangtian, his eyes were filled with respect, that kind of respect from the bottom of his heart. Long Fei's heart trembled. How strong is Long family's ancestor? Does he know more secrets about the Long family? Long family is truly too mysterious. More and more, he felt that the Long family was too mysterious. The cultivation of the Dark Demon King was extremely close to the War God realm, so what realm did Long Quangtian in the last level reach? War King. When did the Long family have such an expert? Why had it never been recorded? There were too many secrets in everything. Huff. Long Fei said, "You want to go with me?" The Dark Demon laughed out loud and said, "Seems like you really are here to save Long Quangtian. Since that's the case, I'm willing to go with you." "All right. However, I have a condition." Long Fei did not want to continue suffering from liver pain, and he did not want to lose one more level for nothing. "Tell me." Long Fei said, "You can only fight against the city lord of the next level. You can't kill him. If you kill him, leave it to me." The Dark Demon did not mind. "No problem. As long as I can meet Long Quangtian again, there won't be a problem with anything else." His expression was like that of a brainless fan. She was too infatuated with Long Quangtian. As for why he was infatuated, Long Fei did not know. "Young master, are you all right?" Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A large amount of people, who had fallen into the deep pit, could only tremble inwardly when they saw the miserable deaths of all the evil spirits from the pit. The Dark Demon looked at these people, then looked at Long Fei, and said to himself, "He should be the one King Yama asked me to kill, right? Ha ha ha. What a pity. Table of contents, he doesn't know anything about my relationship with the Long family." Towards the Dark Demon, Long Fei was also on guard. In the 10th level of Hell, Long Fei did not manage to earn a single bit of true chi. Long Fei waved his arms, and said, "The next level, Stone Pressure Hell. 3 chapters, 8_8419235670. With the addition of the Dark Demon, Long Fei's team became even more unstoppable. With the addition of the Dark Demon, Long Fei's team became even more unstoppable. The 11th floor. It was a stone that was crushing the infernal realm. Long Fei said, "Let them experience what a one-wave rush is." Rumble. Rumble. It was like a bulldozer, crushing everything in its path. Dark Demon, just hit him until his half crippled. Understood. His body was like a mass of black fog, rushing towards the mayor. The 3 masses of black fog surrounded the mayor. In that instant. Boom. An explosion. Half of the HP directly exploded above the mayor's head. The damage just now had caused around 30 million damage. This damage was simply. Long Fei's scalp was a little numb. At the same time, Long Fei rushed forward quickly, releasing all the power of War Emperor level 8, releasing all of his 3-rate peerless technique, all of his Heart Sutra. The Dragon Salya in his hands swung down wildly. Facing the heavily injured Rock Pressure City leader's blade attack. 170% of his 100,000 points. Compared to the damage of the Dark Demon, it was negligible. The disparity was too great. The Dark Demon gave Long Fei the feeling that his cultivation was not strong, but how could his strength cause such a fatal injury? Long Fei slashed down. Shiwaye was enraged. "You juniors actually dare to act so arrogantly in front of me, die." The huge boulder fell from the sky and smashed towards Xiong Longfei. The dark demon sneered, "You still dare to be so arrogant." Boom. The devil fire on his body moved again, and once again engulfed the mayor. The amount of blood on the head of the city lord was 0. Yi Zichen's body exploded as well, and the black mist that rushed into his body jumped out crazily, returning to the body of the dark demon god. This power was it was truly peerless. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 slaying City Master Shu Ya4 obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 obtaining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 killing Rock Pressure City Lord. Rewards, level +1. Congratulations to player Long Fei 4 leveling up. Current level, War Emperor level, 9. As long as Long Fei dealt damage before, no matter who killed him, he would gain experience and get the items to drop. This was also considered part of the system. If he did any damage, the killer would be deemed to have killed him. Dark Demon sneered and said, "Not even a single blow." Long Fei looked at him, at the 3 black-colored flames on his body, and could not help but ask, "What kind of energy do you cultivate?" Dark Demon looked at Long Fei and asked, "You're very strong, right?" The Dark Demon was arrogant and proud. However, he had the capital to be arrogant. Long Fei had to admit, very strong. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The Dark Demon laughed out wildly. The people from Long family actually said that I'm very strong, ha ha ha. Incomparable excitement. As if he had obtained some satisfaction, in his eyes, the most abnormal family in the world belonged to the Long family, and he revered them. Long Fei praised him because he felt joy from the bottom of his heart. As soon as he finished laughing, he said to himself, "But, in front of Long Quangtian, my strength is like an ant, unable to withstand a single blow." Boom. A bolt of lightning struck down in Long Fei's mind, causing him to be extremely shocked. An existence that can cause tens of millions of damage at once is simply an existence that can explode on the surface. Who can block it? But an existence just like an ant. Dark Demon laughed. "Do you still think it's very strong? Little guy, the truly strong ones are the perverts from your Long family, but looking at you, I should be able to guess that the dragon blood activation in your body is extremely weak. The dragon salya in your hands is the same. Not even the slightest bit of the might of a martial saint. If it hasn't even fused with a low-level item like the heart of ancient fairy tree, the power of the blade. Too weak." Dark Demon said bluntly. How mighty and tyrannical was the previous Long family? Long Fei was indeed very fierce, and although he had been slaughtered all the way down, his strength was still far away when compared to the ancestors of the Long family. Especially Dragon Salya S, they simply could not use the slightest bit of their strength. This was the difference. Long Fei's heart tensed up, he was shocked. He thought he was very strong, and the Dragon Salya was also very strong, but in the eyes of the Dark Demon, it seemed like it couldn't withstand a single blow. Extremely weak. The Dark Demon looked at Long Fei and said, "When you meet your ancestors, he will tell you just how strong the Long family used to be." Ha ha ha. How strong is the Long family? How strong is Long Quangtian of the 18th level of the 18 Hells? Long Fei's heart was filled with questions, and at the same time, he thought to himself, how strong is it exactly? At this moment, Dark Demon landed in front of a prison and smiled. "Lunatic, aren't you going to come out and play?" The Dark Demon idea moved. The skinny old man in the prison opened his eyes slightly, took a glance at the Dark Demon, and looked at Xiong Longfei at the same time. Dark Demon said, "This is the kid from Long family." The old man looked at Long Fei again before he stood up slowly, as if he had not moved for hundreds of years. When he stood up, the bones in his body creaked and creaked. "The kid from Long family. Sure. I've also not seen Long Quangtian for a long time. I'll consider it as me playing around with you guys." Long Fei looked at the skinny old man, whose sharp eyes could penetrate into his mind and look like a candle in the wind. However, Long Fei felt that once he obtained the true chi, it would mean that he had lost his mind. He might be the one that was killed in an instant. Yang Huang ancestor also slightly said, "This person is not simple. Don't worry. Even if he and that Dark Demon guy work together, they still won't be able to kill you. Because I'm here. Yang Huang ancestor's aura was incomparably arrogant. Since this was the Sky Martial continent, no matter how powerful the Yang Huang ancestors were, they would not put this place in their eyes. Continue. 12th floor. Long Fei only slashed once. And then, the Lord of Chun Wu was killed. The aura on Long Fei's body changed once again. A powerful war god's power poured into his body. His strength underwent a further transformation. This time, Dark Demon and Skinny Elder were both shocked for a moment, but it was only for a moment. Long Fei was not as excited as he was initially, but he was. He secretly said that, Hong Tianjun, what is your cultivation level now, War God Realm? The power of the War God Realm, Long Fei felt a movement between his brows, sensing it a little. Huff. Powerful. At this moment, another old man joined the party. He looked at Long Fei seriously, and then revealed a wild laughter. Interesting, interesting, looks like we can really meet Long Quangtian again. They were very interested in Long Quangtian. He didn't know why. Long Fei had a kind of bad premonition in his heart. This kind of premonition started from the 10th level of hell, and also started from the kind of strength that came from the Dark Demon's body. Every single one of them was an incomparably powerful expert. Their attacks could deal millions of critical hits. Too terrifying. Floating life, no windows. A++ moreover. The most important thing was that when the Dark Demon started, the true chi on their bodies kept churning and there were no signs of them being refined at all. They were helpers. Or was he King Yama's killer? 4 chapters, 8_84 19235678 HTML.com. Whether it was a helper or a killer, Long Fei only knew one thing. Whether it was a helper or a killer, Long Fei only knew one thing. He wanted experience. He wanted to level up. From the 11th layer onwards, the strength of the city lords kept on increasing. It was impossible for him to accomplish this with just his strength alone. He would probably need too much time to break through to the 18th level. With these powerful people as henchmen, Long Fei naturally wanted to make good use of them. Boom. The Lord of the 13th floor was killed again. This time, Long Fei was the first to attack, and only punched out. It only dealt 29 foot a few damage and was then killed by the Dark Lord and the others. Long Fei's level increased again. On this floor, another monstrous expert had joined the fray. Continue. Long Fei didn't care so much. The 14th floor. The 15th floor. The 16th floor. All the way to the 17th floor. Every single level was extremely easy, and the people who followed Long Fei did not even have a chance to make a move. Once they entered, they would immediately be struck down, and killed in just a few minutes. Every time he killed a city lord, Long Fei would take the initiative to kill him. Each level would have an additional strange expert. Perhaps it was a demon, or the master of a sect that had disappeared for 10,000 years. However, they all had two things in common: they were from the South Horizon region. Secondly, they all wanted to reach Long Quangtian. After killing the mayor of the 17th floor, Long Fei's level increased to the level of a level 6 warlord, which made leveling up to be like riding on a rocket. Long Fei roared out in his heart, "Fuck, I'm only asking one question, who else is there? 18 years old, War God level 6. Just by asking, who else could it be? Who could do it? Hong Tianjun, you're about to be stomped out of the SHXT by me." Long Fei became even more excited. At this moment, 7 old freaks stood on the 17th floor's prison cell with a strange look in their eyes. The Dark Demon took the lead and said, "Sir, it's time to come out of seclusion." A middle-aged man. Dressed in white and spotless, he looked like a scholar. He seemed to be the cleanest person in the prison, as well as the most normal person. The man turned his body slightly. Long Fei looked over. It was also at this time. The man was also looking at Long Fei. The moment their 4 eyes met, the Yang Huang ancestor was shocked. She released a stream of power of Emperor Yang Huang to protect Long Fei's state of mind, and said, "Demon Eye." Long Fei's body trembled slightly, and was almost crushed into powder by the power of this gaze. It was extremely uncomfortable. At that moment, Long Fei almost felt like he was going to die. Long Fei was also extremely anxious in his heart. What kind of power is this? Yang Huang ancestor said, this middle-aged scholar should be a supreme demi-human. His pair of demonic eyes can release destructive power. If I had been even half a second later, I'm afraid that you. He did not continue. How can a demon lord appear in the weakest of the 5 domains of the Tianwu continent, the southern domain? That's impossible. The middle-aged scholar smiled. Long family people are indeed long family people. The power of the demon eye was actually easily blocked by them. Dark Demon and the other 6 were shocked. They all looked at Xiong Longfei at the same time. The power of the demon eye was extremely strong. It had the power of the elements of destruction, and was a unique technique of the supreme demon clan Yi Tianchou. However, but Long Fei blocked it. They couldn't help but be shocked. From the beginning, the dark demon god had never placed Long Fei in his eyes. Even until a moment ago, he still did not place Long Fei in his eyes, but now, his heart clenched. The middle-aged scholar walked towards the door. The moment his body touched the door, the chains and iron pillars on the door immediately turned into fine powder. The metal pillar began to rot and turn into powder. It was as if he was crushing everything in his path. This power, it made Long Fei's scalp go numb, but he was also secretly excited. Even at this moment, he desperately wished that these players were all bosses. He wanted to kill them all and obtain the unparalleled strength from their bodies. Xiao Bai sent a sound transmission to him. Master, Supreme Demon Race, his power is very strong. If you want to fight, do not ever touch his body, do remember. As he spoke, it was as if he could not hold on any longer, and directly entered Long Fei's war pet space without waiting for Long Fei's control. It was the same with fire and ice. He couldn't withstand the power emitted from the middle-aged man's body. Lang Qianli and the rest were even more so. He couldn't bear it. If not for the power of the Yang Huang ancestor, Long Fei would not have been able to endure it. That kind of mental impact was something he had never felt before, and it was stronger than any kind of pressure crushing down. The middle-aged man walked to Long Fei's side. The people from the Long family are truly extraordinary. Heh. He's not even 20 years old yet and is at the 6th level of the war god realm. He could probably be counted as the #1 genius in the history of the Long family. However, the middle-aged man's mouth turned cold and revealed a devilish sneer. 6th level of the war god level, weak to the point of being a complete mess. When he was speaking, Long Fei was almost unable to move. Yang Huang ancestor slightly said, "Do you want to kill him? I have an idea. If I absorb the power of the holy artifact during this period of time, I can directly blast him to death." Yang Huang ancestor was a little unhappy. Hearing the ancestor's words, Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "It's true that I'm not strong enough when compared to the ancestors of the Long family, but you all. I don't think he's that strong either. If you were strong enough, you wouldn't have died. If my guess is not wrong, all 8 of you were killed by my Long family's ancestors, right?" Long Fei laughed coldly. "If that's the case, then all of you are really weak to the point of exploding. Compete in arrogance. Compete in posturing." Long Fei was definitely not weaker than anyone. The dark demon's forehead tightened as he said in a deep voice, "Impudent." Long Fei's eyes turned as he stared at the dark demon, and said, "I'm being presumptuous, what do I have to say?" The fiend god was enraged. A vigorous energy burst forth as he took a step forward. 3 dark arrogance rolled out of his body and rushed towards Long Fei. Long Fei sneered and said, "Do you think that your 3 dark arrogance are very strong? Leaving these 3 streams of flames, your body should be nothing more than a pile of shit, right?" Long Fei moved. He had not done anything along the way. Every time they made a move, he would carefully study it and observe it clearly. The dark demon left the 3 dark arrogance. His physical body's defense was extremely weak. The dark demon's face sank. The expressions of the others also changed. At this moment, with a slight movement, a surge of energy pushed them away. He smiled coldly and said, "Now is not the time to fight. Kid, Go down to the 18th floor. Long Quangtian is still waiting for us. He can wait. I can't wait. Ha ha ha. In another place. In the palace of the King of Hell, the King of Hell revealed an excited smile. The show is about to begin. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. 8_841923567885. HTML.com. Not only did Yama King look for the dark demon imprisoned in the 10th level of hell. Not only did Yama King look for the dark demon imprisoned in the 10th level of hell. He also looked for people on the 11th to 17th floors. Amongst the 8 of them, the Dark Demon King was the weakest. The demon sovereign Yi Tianqiu on the 17th floor was the strongest amongst the experts, the strongest amongst the strong. Oxhead asked, Master, what are your conditions for agreeing to them? Is it possible for a supreme being of the demi-humans to work for you? Horseface also wanted to know, so he asked, these 8 people are not that simple. If any of them were to escape, they would bring disaster upon the underworld. King Yang Luo grinned and said, City Lord of Hell. Oxhead and Horseface were startled at the same time. They finally understood why they were allowed to kill Hell's City's Lord. It seemed like all of this had long been arranged beforehand. Actually, this was secondary. What was important was something else. The deaths of these 8 people all came from a common point. They had all died in Long Quangtian's hands. They hated Long Quangtian of the 18th floor with all their hearts. So, the good show began. Lang Qianli quickly unlocked the seal at the entrance, and just as he was about to step in, Dark Demon coldly said, Wait. Yi Tianqiu stared at Long Fei and said, Hand your dragon Salia over. Huh. Long Fei frowned. Yi Tianqiu laughed, You don't have to either. Before he finished his sentence, he suddenly lifted the 5 of them into the air. The power he released was too strong. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak. Crack. KCHA. Their heads broke, their bodies withered, and in the end, they looked like iron rust shedding off their bodies. They slowly turned into dust, not even their bones were left behind. Young Lord, don't hand it over. We've already died once, what's there to be afraid of? Yes. For us to be able to make it to the 17th floor, we've already lived enough. Young Master, following you is the most exciting day of my life. It's worth it. Everyone was extremely displeased with the arrogant attitude of Yi Tianqiu and the rest of the 8. Along the way, they only admired Long Fei. No matter how much power the Dark Demon King and the others released, they still admired Long Fei. Ouch. So loyal. Yi Tianqiu said coldly, Since that's the case, then all of you can go and die. A voice came from the Yang Huang ancestor and Long Fei suddenly shouted, I surrender. Good girl. If I tell you to hand it over, then hand it over. How can there be a cowardly person like you in Long family? Dark Demon disdainfully said, his face full of pride. Long Fei handed the dragon Salia over. Yi Tianqiu's expression was somewhat excited, and she said faintly, You're responsible for keeping the Dark Demon. Yes, sir. Receiving the dragon Salia, Dark Demon's expression became even more complacent. He stared at Long Fei and laughed. Brat, you're really tactful, in the future you'll be as obedient as a dog, this way you can live longer. What did you say? What are you being arrogant for? Young lord, fight it out with them. Long Fei being humiliated, they were very unhappy. Moreover, in order to protect them, Long Fei had handed over the supreme artifact, so their gratitude was incomparable. The Dark Demon laughed proudly and said, You are just a motley crew? You're just a bunch of trash. You want to overturn the heavens in front of me? What a joke. Long Fei's voice also sunk as he said indifferently, Everyone, don't be in such a rush. There will be a time. And then? Long Fei looked at Yi Tianqiu and asked, Can you go down now? Yi Tianqiu said indifferently, Of course you can. Without the dragon Salia, Long Quangtian is like a tiger with its teeth pulled out, it is useless now. Long Fei stepped into the 18th floor. The moment he stepped in, boom. Thunder rumbled in his ears as his body suddenly sank. The War God level 6 almost couldn't withstand the backlash from level 18. It was also at this time. Ding. True Chi is worth 100 points. Ding. True Chi is worth 100 points. The consumption of True Chi suddenly doubled, 1,000 per second, 1 minute for 60,000, 1 hour for 360,000. His current True Chi only had 2 hours, and he could not even use cultivation techniques, otherwise his consumption would be even faster. This kind of place was simply impossible to recover from. Even if it was him, it would be extremely difficult. It wouldn't even take a day to be sucked dry in this place. Aside from the fact that the consumption of True Chi had doubled, the surrounding environment was also incomparably sinister. Whether it was rolling thunder, raging lightning, or howling winds and torrential rain. The cold wind was bone-piercing. It was as hot as a fire. All kinds of weather was constantly changing, making it difficult for people to adapt. Boom. Boom. Young master, the True Chi in our pubes was instantly blown up. Mine too. What exactly is the 18th level of hell? My pubes are all withering. This is too hard to bear. Lang Qianli and the others all had painful expressions. Without the support of the True Chi, they had to use their bodies to resist it. However, Yi Tianqiu and the rest, on the other hand, were not the least bit unwell. On the contrary, they did not have the slightest sign of losing their True Chi. Long Fei's heart trembled. King Yama. He felt extreme hatred in his heart. All of this must have been arranged by the King of Hell, otherwise it definitely wouldn't have happened like this. The moment Yi Tianqiu stepped into the 18th floor, his voice shook the heavens. Long Quangtian, come out and accept your death. As soon as his voice faded, Yi Tianqiu's eyes shone with a bright light. Like 2 searchlights, he released a 1,000 miles long light, and directly locked onto a person's figure. The man was wearing a flip-flop. He was wearing a tattered vest. The heads on his head had all been cut off, and the only heads that were left were those that were 30 to 70% off, looking very coquettish. His figure was somewhat ludicrous and obese. This one spoke. He was squatting in the pit, shitting. His entire appearance made Long Fei think of a person. Besides his looks, the appearance of the ultimate killer king, the evil god Huayun, was basically the same. A bad old man. He raised his eyes and said, "Do you like to see **T? Then you'll definitely like eating **T too." Her voice was very calm. However, it rang out in everyone's minds. Long Fei's heart trembled. This is Long Quangtian. Yi Tianqiu laughed sinisterly. Long Quangtian, I've already found you hiding in the 18th floor of hell. Today, I will make it so that you can't even be a ghost. Attack. As soon as his voice faded, apart from him and the dark demon god, the other 6 people all rushed out. Rumble. 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 A deafening sound shook the sky as 6 powerful attacks came crashing down. Equals semi-floating life plus, Long Quangtian almost did not move. The 6 attacks hit his body. His body was sunken and dislocated. There was a trickle of blood on his nose and his eyes were swollen like a black panda's. However, as if he didn't feel any pain, he grinned and said, "Is that all you have?" Chapter 18_1923568787. HTML.com. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,